Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
I love these. Did you hear about the Missouri Hills redneck who wondered if he divorced his wife, would she still be his sister? And the redneck track star who won a gold medal in the Olympics. He was so proud of it, he went and got it bronzed. I love those. Good morning. You're on the air. Here comes Kate Smith, and God bless America on a Thursday. Good morning, morning. Thank you, the lovely Kate Smith, and God bless America on a Thursday, July the 24th. And good morning, everybody. Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And along with some of our great advertisers, like Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley, and our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. And right now, without further ado, good morning, Gina.
Well, good morning, Sunshine, and how are you?
Well, good to a certain point, and we're going to probably have more phone problems this morning, and the reason is they're going to come out and do, hopefully, some more troubleshooting on the line. So I expect, and I want to pre-warn the audience, if we go off, we'll just call right back and try to get reestablished, but we are trying to get this thing fixed in any way we can. I'm almost tempted next Monday to start the program with a couple of paper cups and string.
You know, we might get better communication that way.
Well said. Do we have a pledger?
No, it's going to be me, you, or Michael.
No, I tell you what, you did a great job yesterday, and then we'll break it up a little bit and go right to Michael. Go ahead, please.
Got it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very well done. And right now, the weather forecast is brought to you by Cheney Flooring and Home Design. Oh, these are wonderful people. Kyle and Whitney Cheney. I'm telling you what, they've hit a home run with Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for their blue door. Call them on the landline, 678-6945, and they have free in-house consultation to help you beautify your home. That's right, and they can meet or beat any price on flooring. Just please give them a call or stop in. Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Again, look for the blue door. Here now, Michael Rogers weather.
You are at 62 degrees. You're going to get as high as 76. Get yourself a nice little cooling trend today with a lot of sun, very little clouds, and that's good news. And the bad news is that it's going to be breezy today. And where I get serious with the bad news is that you've got a red flag warning for your area east through Burley, Oakley, all the way up to Craters of the Moon, and it's shown also, and southeast of Twin Falls going down to northern Nevada. So dry weather, dry conditions. You still got enough moisture to form a cloud, so you wouldn't be surprised if you get some dry lightning. What does all that mean? Could get a wildfire. And with the winds blowing from 18 to 32 gusting to 35 today from the west, if a wildfire got started, it's going to go. So please be careful if you're out and about today, throwing out cigarette butts, lighting matches, things of that nature. You already got dry lightning that's going to help you out. You don't need to help it out anymore. So take care of that. Your warming trend will go all the way up till Saturday, where you get back up to the mid-90s. But so far, you got a nice day, a little bit breezy, and it's dry. So enjoy the day, enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
Thank you, Michael. Brought to you by Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for their blue door, and they take great pride in keeping up with the latest trends and designs. Hey, today's sale day at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Come on in here, Merv. Tell us about it.
All right, you get set of steer calves. They're here to get $31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5.
Oh, that's the world's best auctioneer right there, Merv May, along with Lance Udy and the rest of the crew at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Sale time 10:30. For more information, call them at 678-9411. That number again, 678-9411. Sale time today at 10:30 at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, and they're going to have cattle coming in from Nathan Eames and Jeremy Smith, north of Rupert, and they are bringing in 40 head of black Angus heifers that are 750-pounders, and these are fancy, good-looking, ripping good-looking heifers. Along with Kelly Suro, East of Burley bringing in 35 head of Holstein steers weighing 700 to 900 pounds. Butcher cows coming in from Moo Mountain and TLK Dairies. A great trailer line run. Don't forget about the sale today at 10:30 at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, and the number to call for more information, 678-9411. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, you get set of steer calves. They're here to get $31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 135, 50, 135, sell them $35. Zeb Bell gets bottom.
Oh, I tell you what, that's the kind of a bottom price you want. I don't mind that. That's a lot more than I've ever got. Hey, Valley White Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. We're going to be talking to those folks a little bit later on this morning, talking to Mandy. There is so much going on over at Valley White right now because of the fair time and the 4-H'ers and all the supplies they need, the brushes and the haulers and the blankets and the bridles and everything, and you can get 10% off for the 4-H'ers and along with all their feed needs. And they've got, of course, all the health supplies, dog and kitty cat food. It's all there for you at Valley White Home and Ranch. And like I said, we're going to have Mandy on the program with us a little bit later on this morning. Valley White Home and Ranch, super nice people at 910 South Oneida in Rupert. You stop over and see them today. By the way, when you stop in and see people, you want to remember to stop in and see our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric, too, at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Number to call, 678-0459. And you heard Michael, a little cooler today, but then all of a sudden, presto changeo, it's going to get back up into the mid to higher 90s. So you better make sure your air conditioning unit is ready for that extra heat. Make sure that you've got a clean air conditioning filter. You stop into Ramsey Heating and Electric. They can help you, always have, and they got all your cord ends, they got all your rubber cord, they've got all your fuses, they've got what you're looking for electrical at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. Really nice people at Ramsey Heating and Electric. All right, give us a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Last night, Wednesday night, Dave Zanino, very, very dear friend of mine, puts on the weekly series team roping at the Jerome County Fairgrounds. And the winners last night were as follows: Randy Ray and Cody Coates, first place. Second place, Hoot Dodson and Michael Humbaugh, second place. And third place, Darren Skelly and Travis Erickson for number 3. There you go. There's the top 3 teams in that team roping last night. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
When is a lie a lie?
What?
When is a lie a lie?
It's always a lie. It's never a question of when. If you don't tell the truth, it's always a lie regardless of the time.
Yeah, and how many other lies do you have to tell to try to prove that you were not lying?
Yeah, I mean, the cover-up and the extension of the story and everything else, it just gets to the point where why not just simply tell the truth in the beginning and not worry about all the other stuff?
Well, the reason why Lois Lerner is not afraid to lie is because Eric Holder and
Barack Obama is not afraid to pardon her.
You know, this deal, Keith, this deal with the IRS and Lois Lerner, she's not going to get punished. Nobody's going to come out on the short end of punishment. I just absolutely am appalled that this administration and what they pulled on the border was another indication as to how much I distrust Obama and his henchmen. But this deal with the IRS, they're going to do all they can to whitewash this, sanitize this, and nobody's going to get punished.
Well, they have. Anyway, this is what I heard on TV, that they have recovered copies of the tape. And so I don't know how much more guilty she could be. But what about other people who are dealing with the IRS? Are we supposed to just say, we don't need to tell you the truth either, because Lerner doesn't?
Well, and the problem is, though, Keith...
so far gone.
Yeah, I agree that this nation right now, we've lost the basic character that has made us strong, and America had a character. And ever since, and I don't care who's offended by this, they can go ahead and they can rant and rave all they want. Obama doesn't have any character. Obama doesn't have any personality. Obama doesn't have an ideology that's going to promote the Constitution and the value system of this United States. I absolutely abhor this man and what he's done over the last 5.5, 6 years to this country.
And how this Alan Colmes can defend this so-called president we have, because I call so-called because he is not a leader.
No, I couldn't agree more.
He is a leader.
Yeah, I can't agree more with that, but then on the other hand, in fairness to Alan Colmes, and I'm certainly not trying to make it equal for him or fair for him, because I don't like Alan Colmes, there are so many Democrats and liberals that will stand up and absolutely go to the edge of the cliff for Obama, and I can't understand why. Whether it's through Obamacare, whether it's through his foreign policy, whether it's what he has done or hasn't done on the border situation, I mean, they will stand up and they're going to protect this guy, and so will the media. That's the bad part.
Yeah, and one of the problems I had when I listened to Alan Colmes about this is that they tell the story the way it sounds the best.
Yeah.
For instance, they were saying George W. Bush took this many days vacation, and Obama's only taking this much.
Well, let me ask you a short question. Give me a short answer on this, Keith, because I got to get other calls waiting. But who did you feel as an American citizen? As an American citizen, who did you feel protected you the most, and who did you trust the most? George Bush or Barack Obama?
George Bush, undoubtedly.
All right.
But the point is, with what Alan Colmes had said, he forgot to mention that was in George W. Bush's entire term.
Yeah.
8 years.
Yeah.
And so Barack Obama will be up with him without any trouble at all.
All right, Keith, always appreciate your calls every day. Thank you, sir. Thank you, and have a good day. Caller number 2, I'm going to be there just a second. Give me a break, just a minute. Don't hang up. Have patience. Denny's Restaurant, 611 Overland and Burley. Oh, my, the food is great. Oh, my, the service is fantastic. I was just in there with my lovely bride the other day, and I got to tell you, those were called pancake poppers. I almost said it wrong. And if you get a chance to go in there and have breakfast and have some of those pancake poppers with cream cheese, they're so good. You're going to love them. You're going to love breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You're going to love everything on the menu. As I said, the people really take good care of you. It is the home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch. And next week on Thursday, the 31st, will be our next Zeb's Lunch Bunch at Denny's Restaurant, 611 Overland and Burley. You stop in and see them today. Caller, good morning. I'm so sorry to keep you waiting. Go ahead.
That's okay. Hi, Zeb.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you, Linda.
Bless you. I'm going to come in with a complete non sequitur if you're okay with that.
You bet. Go ahead.
tell our listeners about the flea market that Full Flower Catholic Church is having this weekend.
Okay.
Everybody is invited to come. It's at 16th, the corner of 16th and Oakley Avenue in Burley.
Mm-hmm.
We have all kinds of stuff, school things, and you never know what. Come and join us from 8 to 5 and browse and see if something catches your fancy, and join us for a bowl of homemade chili or a homemade cinnamon roll.
Well, there you go. There you got the hook that's going to get everybody there. Homemade chili and cinnamon rolls at the Little Flower Catholic Church, right?
Uh-huh.
All right.
Right.
And Linda, you just have a wonderful day. I hope it all goes well for everyone over there this weekend.
Thank you. We are praying. Thank you so much.
All right.
And I hope to see you next Thursday.
I do too, with your lovely voice singing the national anthem. Thank you very, very much. That lady has so much talent, and I just absolutely appreciate her being at our lunch bunches and singing the national anthem. Linda Croft, what a nice, nice person. Hey, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want to talk to you in just a minute about how I can't respect this White House. I can't respect Obama. I can't respect what he's not and what he is doing on the border. I'm going to talk about what he's telling ICE, Immigrations and Customs, in just a moment, because this is absolutely creating law-breaking and a negativity against our Constitution and our value system as to what this administration's ordering the ICE agents to do on the border. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Don't forget, Berry Equipment and Rental. Oh my, I'm telling you, Berry Equipment and Rental. And they've got all the Doosan loaders. Oh, you better believe it. And they can help you. I mean, they've got all the equipment for the jobs that you're looking to have finished. Doosan equipment, great financing. They've got super people working at all three locations of Berry Equipment and Rental around the valley. They have a location right there in Twin Falls on Addison Avenue West, another one on South Lincoln and Jerome, and their new location at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley with Nick and the rest of the crew. And they've got a wonderful shop with full-time certified mechanics, and oh man, they can take care of everything. If you're looking to purchase or rent, they can help you at Berry Equipment and Rental. As I said, Twin Falls, Jerome, and Burley. You stop in and see them today. All right, calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. There is an edict that has gone from the White House telling the ICE agents to stay in their office and do nothing. I'm not making this up. Deanna and I saw this story at about 4:30 this morning. It came across the news. They're told not to talk about the situation on the border because they might have somebody walk in and threaten their job. And this pathetic administration is not going to enforce the border. They're not going to enhance border security. Telling ICE to stay in their offices and do nothing and let these illegals cross without any confrontation. The Border Patrol is overwhelmed. The Border Patrol down in Arizona and Texas, etc., is overwhelmed. And if you don't think for 5 seconds that the White House is absolutely furious at Rick Perry, governor of Texas, for putting down some of the state National Guard, I should say, on the borders of Texas, guess again, they are furious that Rick Perry's trying to impede the free flow of illegals coming across the Texas border. But I wish Jan Brewer would do the same thing. But telling ICE, Immigrations and Customs agents, to just sit back and do nothing, cool your heels, stay in the office, stay by the air conditioner, that is appalling. They are aiding and abetting the illegals to break the law. Does this not bother you? Have we become so calloused in this country that the rule of law is gone? Other countries basically are telling us, you are going to take our people. You, the American taxpayer, are going to pay for them. You, the American taxpayer, are going to care for them. You are going to foot the bill. That's what they're telling this government. We have nobody protecting us. Nobody. Washington, D.C., and the Democrats and the Republicans are not standing up and raising a furor over this, protecting you and me and our billfolds, and quite frankly, our family safety. Nobody's protecting us. It's basically like they've made an agreement with Nicaragua or Honduras or any one of these countries, including Mexico. You just go ahead and send them up here, we'll let them go, and the American people, the American taxpayer, is going to foot the bill. I cannot believe this. Evidently it doesn't worry you, but it sure makes me mad, I'll tell you that. Hey, today, over at the Lincoln County Fair and Rodeo, they're going to have their huge parade start to line up at 5 o'clock. Parade's going to start at 6, and then at 7 at the rodeo grounds over in Shoshone, they're going to have a junior rodeo, and they have a lot of fun up there at Shoshone. I mean, my goodness sakes, this is a rural country fair the way it ought to be. County Fair are the best. Lincoln County Fair and Rodeo. And then tomorrow, of course, they're going to have in the evening their IMPRA rodeo, as they will again on Saturday, and on Sunday, they're going to have an antique tractor pull at 4 p.m. in the afternoon. All of this and more right there where really the Old West comes alive with the best of county fairs, the Lincoln County Fair and Rodeo in Shoshone. Everybody try to get up there. Going to be ripping good. Oh, and by the way, too, while we have just a minute, I want to remind you quickly about Snyder's Surplus. It's not just Army and hunting supplies. They've got something for everybody. They've got just absolutely a ton of office chairs. I mean, when I say a ton, I think almost over hundreds and hundreds, from $5 to $15, and they need to move them. That's right, because they got another shipment of office chairs coming in. Holy cow. And all you have to do is stop over to 112 South, 200 west of Rupert. Brand new store, brand new merchandise, same nice people, and they're waiting to serve you at Snyder's Surplus. You stop over and see them today. All right, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. We're going to take a little break right now and listen to the Capital Press Ag Minute, and then I want your phone calls. Give me a call. After the break, we're going to talk about that teenage girl from New Jersey. Yeah, you know her name, Rachel Canning. She's back in the news again. Can you believe this? We'll talk about it in just a moment. Stay tuned. Here's the Ag Minute.
Today's Ag Minute brought to you by the Capital Press, the West Ag Weekly.
It's a good time to be in the cow-calf business, producing calves that provide the foundation for the beef chain. Cattle and beef prices are at record highs due to the tight supply and strong domestic and global demand. Average profit margins for cow-calf producers are running $480 per cow this year, says John Novak, owner of Sterling Marketing, a consulting firm for the red meat industry. These are good times. All projections point to strong markets for at least 2 years. Heifer retention has started slowly, but it will be 2.5 years before an effect of herd rebuilding can be seen. Cost of production varies, but profits are in the neighborhood of $500 per cow. This is Hannah Brose.
For more agriculture news and information, turn to the West Ag Weekly, the Capital Press, and CapitalPress.com.
I appreciate those folks at the Capital Press. Great ag newspaper. I get a lot of information out of that paper, and I appreciate them. Hey, by the way, sugar beet growers, listen up here for a second. I want to talk to you about Preaxor from BASF, the newest form of chemistry for sugar beets to fight disease and potentially increase yield and sugar content for your sugar beets. Preaxor contains headline and a new compound, Xemium, that also provides excellent control of powdery mildew. As I said, with the application of BASF's Preaxor 45 to 60 days prior to harvest, you have the potential of higher yields and more sugar content in your sugar beets. So please, right now, contact your local Ag Chem supplier, or for more information, call my buddy BASF's Ron Ellis. You bet, a good guy right there, 431-6776, or Tim Perry at 844-07 682 BASF's Preaxor for your better sugar beets. All right, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, earlier this morning, and I tried to sit down and take in a lot of the news and write down various people that are in the news. There is an author that I really want to get on my program. I've got a lot of respect for this guy. I've read some of his books, and he's excellent. His name is Larry Winget. Wingett. And like I said, he's written many, many books on kids and parenting and winning and losing. And he was on this morning, and what he said was really, really true. Today, kids do not know how to lose because we treat them all as winners. And there's so much sense to that. This give everybody a trophy, give everybody a blue ribbon attitude is garbage. Let me say that up front. And it's not real life. And he said that winning teams should really celebrate winning. And the losing team should have to sit down and celebrate losing to the point where they say to themselves, okay, they were the better team today, but we're going to try harder to succeed and win the next one. That's the attitude that we've lost in this country. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Thanks for calling.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
I keep watching the news, and Zeb, I'm so disgusted with this United States and the presidency that they can treat kids and people like they're doing. I've seen dog pounds better shape than what they have some of these kids in. Honest to God, what has happened to this country?
Al, I can't answer that question in just a very short sentence or paragraph, nor can you. But you have seen over the years, as I have, you're a little bit older than I am, but we've seen a complete deterioration of respect. I think that's the word. Respect for what our forefathers did for us, people like yourself. Respect for what our teachers did for us. Respect for what our former leaders did for us. And we're seeing a complete destruction of the basic foundation of this country, the way it was, the way it should be, but now it has changed. And we've got people like Barack Hussein Obama that absolutely are leading us down a socialist path of destruction. And I'm going to be very blunt when I say this. Most Americans are too doggone dumb to understand it.
That's right. It shows it on this Waters World. Some of them people don't even know what the hell the day is.
Oh,
they're just stupid.
To look at some of these kids, and I'm glad you brought that up, but to look at some of these kids and younger people, let's say 35 to maybe down to about 19, they haven't got a clue in some of these major cities as to what's going on. I've never been more worried in my life.
Because they're so hopped up on this damn drug situation, they don't know which way's up or which way's down. But I tell you what, if they don't straighten it up, it used to work all right. We never had this problem before, and it's getting worse and worse. And people, wake the hell up and let's do something about it. I'm tired of fighting it.
Okay, but whoa, stop. Al, I'm not trying to put you on the spot here, but what? What do we do? It's not as simple as just turning on the water.
Then Bonnier or Boehner, shut the funding off to some of this crap that's going on. You won't have a lot of these problems.
I'm beginning to think, Al, and I've said this for quite a while on my program, and I think you're going to agree. We need a complete sweep in both the House and the Senate. We need to get rid of people. We need to make them understand we don't like them. We need to let them know that we want them out doing nothing more than trying to find employment like a lot of other Americans. This is ridiculous. These people are so calloused as to what their constituents' needs are. It's not going to get any better, Al.
I know. Just put a stop to that Air Force One, put it in the hangar, lock it up, and the same with Air Force Two. If he wants to go chasing around trees, golfing on all that stuff, give him a mini cart and let him go.
I agree with you. Thanks, Al. Appreciate your call, as always. Thank you.
Better.
You know, what is it, though, folks? Maybe you think that everything is okay. Maybe you get out of bed in the morning and you go, come on, Obama's doing a great job. Why, we're just going through a little rough patch right now. We'll come through it okay. Are we really? Will we really? I mean, everything is falling apart as far as our attitudes are concerned, as far as the way our politics is concerned in this country, the way we treat people, the way that we honor and respect our elderly. Everything's falling apart. I'm going to be, again, very blunt. If this offends somebody, it's your problem, not mine. We've got away from God. We've got away from God. And for those that don't believe in God and don't want anything to do with God or anything to do with church or anything to do with religion and that offends you, that's just too bad. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. The only thing that kept all these banana republics from overrunning us all these years was a strong military. And now this playboy up in the White House, and the only thing that's coming out of his mouth today is methane gas, and he isn't doing a darn thing to protect this country. Nothing.
How can you respect a guy that goes to all these fundraisers and trying to garner funds for the Democrats to retain power and retain the Senate, etc., and basically, like Nero, fiddling while Rome burns? This man isn't doing anything on foreign policies. This man isn't doing anything about situations that are absolutely abhorrent in Chicago and other places. He's doing nothing.
Well, that's his plan. That's been his plan from the very beginning, is to destroy this country by flooding with people from the banana republics that will break our economy. And then they're going to destroy us at the ballot box, and that's part of his plan, too.
I think you're right, and I just hope and pray, and I mean this, that November 14th, Americans turn out in force and throw these bums out on their ear. I want to see crying and weeping in the streets when it comes to these senators that are getting thrown out of office.
Amen, brother. I'm with you, and I'd say a prayer. I'm not a praying person, but I'll do it.
All right. I am, and I will, for both of us. Thank you. Caller, I'll be right there. Tony, thank you so much. God bless you, my dear friend. Hey, Sophie's Chatterbox, 530 East Street on the Square. This is a great place to go eat. I'm telling you, breakfast, lunch, or supper, open Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., and I've been bragging on her cinnamon rolls, and you need to try these. Oh, you like cinnamon rolls like I do? They make the best at Sophie's Chatterbox, along with wedding cakes, homemade bread, everything. Oh, my. Sophie's Chatterbox in Rupert. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Mr. Bell.
Yes, sir.
Listen to Alan talking that. A lot of the problems we've got today is we've got to accept the fact that a lot of it was my generation, because our parents give us everything they could, and which most of them didn't have much. And when my generation, we made good money, and we give our kids everything they wanted, and it hasn't stopped from there. It just escalated.
George, I agree with you up to a point, but I'm also going to have to take a different tangent on that, what you just said, to the point where you grew up with respect. You grew up and worked hard. I grew up with respect, and I grew up and worked hard. So to say that our generation perpetrated the problem, maybe some did, but it certainly wasn't you and me. I worked for everything I've got, and so did you.
Yes, most people in our generation has, but it's a nanny state. Everything give me, if you don't give it to them, then they're going to riot and steal it. So,
well, but George, it all goes down to two words, and that's personal responsibility. I'm not my brother's keeper. If he wants to go out and be a lazy bum, that's his problem, not mine, and I do not want to be responsible for his laziness. The same is said for what this border situation is. Right now, we've got so many people in our United States, our brothers and sisters, and all of our American citizens that are crying for help, and we're bringing in literally millions of people that we have no control over. We don't know who they are, and the government's forcing us to pay. That's terrible, George.
It is, and I think we'd shut off or give me funds to those countries that they would bring a halt to that heartbeat.
Well, I'll take...
Basically paying them to get rid of their kids.
Yeah, I'll take responsibility for a little bit of it, but you know something? I've worked hard all my life, and I'm just sick and tired of the government pointing their finger at me and saying, I'm responsible. I am not.
Yep, we've worked our backside off to get it. Now we got to fight to keep it.
There you go. George, thank you for your call. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Have a good day, sir.
Redder Showcase. Hey, I want to tell you they're having their annual tent sale. Oh, callers welcome, by the way. I forgot to mention that. Please give me a call. Redder Showcase will be having their tent sale, and it's going all the way through this weekend. The tents are inside the store where it's nice and cool. That's right, with great savings inside the store. Check out all the money you can save on Whirlpool and Maytag and Amana appliances. Oh, my. 12 months same as cash on approved credit, and a huge selection of Staten furniture, all made in America. Woo! Redder Showcase 2611, Overland and Burley, winner of the best appliance store for 2014 in the Mini-Cash area. Redder Showcase, serving you. All right, give me a call, 436-2244-1866-927-4587. I don't mind having somebody point their finger at me and say, well, I think you're responsible for this. Well, then let's sit and talk about it. I've worked since I was 16. And I know many and most of you probably have worked since you were teenagers. And you've worked hard. You've raised your families. You've paid your bills. You've had to scratch your head many, many times wondering how at the end of the month you were going to have any money left for anything. And for the government, just basically, and this is why I have so much, I'm going to say, contempt for the government, and especially the Obama administration, to thrust upon you and me, the taxpayers, this huge, enormous problem of people that don't belong here. Oh, and don't give me these crying eyes of, these are the children. We've got to help the children. No, wait a minute. Where's the parental and family responsibility to take care of their kids and better their situation within the family structure instead of pawning them off 15 to 1,800 miles north to somebody that they don't know? Us. Good morning, you're on the air.
Yes, what we need is guys like Trey Gowdy, Mike Lee, Ted Cruz. If we had men like that back in Washington, if we had full of them, we wouldn't have this problem.
Well, I agree with you, but right now there is such an animosity back on the East Coast in Washington, D.C., and there's this finger pointing. Oh, well, if you're against the helping the children, you're a bad person. Shame on you. Fred, I know you so well, and you would do anything. You would grab your checkbook in a heartbeat to help anybody that needs help. But you know something? I'm bitter because this is being thrust upon you and me and everybody else, and we're being told that we've got to raise everybody else's kids. We've got to pay for their medicine, pay for their education, pay for everything, and we're going broke.
Not now. No. They send them back.
Amen.
We've got to send them back. It can't continue, Zeb. It cannot continue.
Well, and nor should
our nation.
Nor should it have ever started. You know as well as I do, it's nothing more than a political ploy to enhance the Democratic voting base, and I think it's terrible that Obama would use these kids as pawns.
I can't believe what's happening. But what do we do? We're such a minority here, and we elect our congressmen. What are they doing?
Well, it's not only the congressman, it's the entire system, Fred. I mean, I really don't want to hear Crapo call me and expound upon how great he's done. I don't want to hear Risch call me and say how wonderful a job he's done, or Simpson or Labrador. What I want to hear and see are these guys going to other senators and other congressmen and say, hey, we need a power play. We need numbers. We're going to look the president in the eye. We're going to tell him, no, we're not going to let this happen. But everybody's flying their their own airplane instead of getting together and doing something as a unit.
That is correct. You got that dead right. That's what needs to be done.
I mean, Fred, if they had people back there with your attitude and my attitude that would represent their constituents and not give a rip about whether or not they're going to get reelected, not give a rip whether or not one of their boosters is going to support them on their reelection campaign, and work while they're there for the people as they campaign for, we'd all be in a lot better shape.
That's right. That's why I mentioned them three guys. Them three guys are working for a nation.
Absolutely. I've lost my respect for politics. I've lost my respect for leadership. This Obama administration, I don't see any leadership. Let me ask you something, Fred. You've been, by the grace of God, here on this earth for a long time, and you've seen various presidents. But I absolutely cannot respect a president that, whether it's a Benghazi situation, whether it's a plane that was shot out of the sky with 230 people on board, and he is so callous that he goes out and he's trying to do not his job, but he's trying to solicit funds in fundraisers to help reelect his people. At the same time, all these world crises are going on. How do you respect somebody like that?
You cannot respect him. I can't believe that he's a president of our country. He's a leader? No. He's definitely not a leader.
You know, and I want to hear the Democrats out in the audience. Of course, they don't have the backbone or the spine to call into this program. And if they did, I would respect them and listen to them, and we'd have a good two-way conversation. But how can I respect them when they're like little snakes crawling underneath the boardwalk when it comes to explaining their platform, when it comes to explaining things like Planned Parenthood and what they're doing, when it comes to explaining things as to why we should have open borders? They won't come on any program and discuss it because they're afraid they'll get cornered.
Yeah, they have no defense.
That's right. That's right. Fred, God bless you. I got to do the weather forecast, my friend. God bless you. Thanks so much.
Have a good one.
Thank you. Burley Glass bringing us the weather this hour at 1029 Overland Avenue in Burley. Jenna, Ben, Leslie, the whole crew, working hard to provide great service to all the communities in Magic Valley. Oh, my goodness, with energy-efficient windows, they have helped my office so much. I love these windows. You check it out at Burley Glass. Right now, here's Michael Rogers' weather.
Hey everyone, Michael Rogers for Zebedee Ranch. How you doing? You're going to be cool today, sunny high 76. The bad news, since you get a red flag warning for much of the Magic Valley from your area, southeast, and also north, as far north as Cruise of the Moon Park. And the bad news that goes along with that red flag warning is that it's going to be breezy today. You can have winds gusting to about close to 35 miles an hour, coming out of the west, 18 to 22 miles an hour. Pretty dry in the Magic Valley. Now, as far as warming up, you'll get up to about 94 by the time you get to Saturday. But other than that, cool day, breezy day, red flag warning, but a lot of sun, very little cloud. Enjoy the weather, so what do you got?
Thank you very much, Michael Rogers. Weather brought to you this hour by Burley Glass, 1029 Overland Avenue in Burley, working hard to provide great service to all the communities in the Magic Valley. All right, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. This is really worrisome to me, and it should be to everybody. Another airplane, another jet airliner, vanished early this morning from radar over Africa with 116 people on board. Air Algiers. And there's been no contact. Now, up until I left to get on this program this morning and come into my studio, I had this note that there had been no contact. Nobody knows where it went down. Nobody knows how it went down. Nobody knows if it went down. And another airliner gone, missing. And I know. You're probably saying, well, are you going to paint another conspiracy theory? No, but there are so many options on the table. Now, we heard many people, like Bill O'Reilly and others, that denigrated anybody with a difference of opinion that about the Malaysian jet that supposedly, quote-unquote, crashed and went down in the Indian Sea. Okay? Show me the proof. Show me the proof. And we just heard a click, and I'm going to ask Gina if we're still on the air. I believe we are. Gina, please.
We're still rolling.
No, it popped in my headsets, let me tell you.
Popped here, too, really good.
Boy, it was a dandy. As a matter of fact, it made my ear bubbles stand out about 3 feet and then jump right back in the earlobes. It was really something. But anyway, show me the proof. We don't have any proof where that plane went down, unfortunately, with all those 239 people on board. We've lost is a key word, jetliners. The tragedy that took place over in the Ukraine with the shooting down of another Malaysian flight. And now this flight, missing over Africa. There have been some real tragedies and worries with jet fares and all the people that are lost, gone, their lives have been wasted. Why? What's happening here? 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give us a call. Well, I'm waiting for your call that I hope is coming in. Woo! That was a loud pop in my headsets, too. Don't forget the 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All serving you with the best in tires. Going to take a little trip? Got to get out of Dodge City and just say, I'm out of here, I got to go. I don't blame you. Make sure that you have the best in tires on your vehicle, whether it's for your car, your truck, your SUV, camp trailer, horse trailer, whatever. Please go see your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. And, you know, the best in brake service. I want to stress that you really need to make sure that your outfit is road-worthy and safe. They've got the best in brake service, professionally trained technicians, over 30 years experience, and they know how to serve your brakes, along with your front end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, all there. Easy credit plans available. Talk to Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buer, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, John on Pauline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All right, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I was reading a story that was on the front page of the paper this morning about rattlesnakes that are congregating on the outskirts of farmland. They're moving closer and closer to farmland because of the dry conditions. Oh, man, I hate snakes. I know when we used to have different things on with the Fish and Game, they were talking about, oh, they're cuddly. They make good pets. No, they don't. And the story this morning was I'm going to try to get Ross Winton, the regional wildlife biologist with the Idaho Department of Fish and Game, on our program in a special edition to talk about snakes and how you need to be very, very careful. They were saying in the article a Caldwell woman was bitten earlier this year while she was walking with her husband near the Boise River. And they say just to really be careful because snakes are moving in closer this year to humanity due to the dry conditions. So, be careful out there. Lots of rattlesnake sightings in areas where you didn't expect them. Oh, by the way, real quick, I want to point out to you, Jane Fonda's mad. Yeah, she's really upset. Jane Fonda, Hanoi Jane, here's her quote. She said, I'll be so angry at the federal regulators if they approve an acquisition of Time Warner by Rupert Murdoch's 21st Century Fox. And she said, I think it would be a catastrophe. Do you really care what Jane Fonda says? I mean, Jane Fonda, I have no respect for this woman whatsoever after what she did during Vietnam. Her opinion means nothing. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I can remember back when the farms out on the north side had rattlesnakes came in and were getting up into the attic and eating the mice in their homes.
Oh, don't eat. Now, Kilt Man, you could have talked all morning long. I'd have given you the floor, but don't say things like that.
Well, my problem is I'm tone deaf. I can't even hear a rattlesnake. I've stepped on them.
Oh, really?
And I can't hear them.
Well, the story, I think, was a good story to make people aware that, you know, a lot of people say, well, there's never been a rattlesnake seen here for over 30 years. Well, maybe with the drought conditions and everything, people need to be more aware of where they might not be, they will be.
Well, the other thing is, these farms and ranches and stuff like that have moved out a little bit farther since the last time they had this problem.
That's true.
So, you know, they're a couple miles farther into the deserts and stuff like that than they used to be.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's really a concern at this point.
If you want to try to beat me in a foot race, you couldn't. All you have to do is show me a snake, and you better look out, because those crutches are going to be going 900 miles an hour.
Well, you know, that, and the other thing they got to remember is go out there in the grain fields, because walking through those or something like that, the mice are prevalent, and that's where the rattlesnakes will be. You know, they're hunting.
Well,
food.
I'll tell you what, people need to be cautious. People need to be aware. People need to be wary. And it's a situation where I'm glad they put that story in the newspaper, because it made me more cognizant that maybe you think you don't have rattlesnakes where you live, but maybe you do.
Well, that's the reason I wear boots every time I go off in the brush. Hopefully they don't strike too high.
All right. Kilt Man, God bless you. Have a good day. Thank you so much.
Too.
All right. We are going to take a little break and turn this back over to the main studios and listen to the ABC News. Next hour is a busy, busy hour. Chamber Report, Dog Nation, Vicky's Gardens, Rita Ramsey. Holy smokes, we got a bunch of things to take care of. Don't go away. Zeb at the Ranch. I'll be back in 6. Oh, morning. Welcome back. Hour number 2, Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsors, of course, your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. I just had a fly right in my eye. Holy smokes, that hurts. Anyway, all 7 locations of your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers, serving you along with some of our great advertisers, and they include Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley, and our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Let's not forget Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. Oh, the number to remember, write it down. Please give them a call. We all should get the information on pre-planning funerals to help alleviate a lot of the stress and worry for our families. Number to call Hanson Mortuary and visit with Joel Heward. Such a nice man and would just love to sit and visit with you, answer your questions. Absolutely. You don't have to come to them. They can possibly come to you. So please call them at 436-5636. 436-5636. Always with the highest ethical standards, with unquestioned integrity. Hanson Mortuary in Rupert. Let us now, via the phone, go over to the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce office on a beautiful Thursday. And here's the lovely Kay Cameron. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
I am great. And now, you realize, Kay, honestly, have you looked at this calendar? Have you looked at how fast things are going?
Oh, I know it's frightening. It's already July 24th. It's Pioneer Day. Minidoka County Fair kicks off next week, and as soon as fair starts, it just seems like summer's over.
Well, there's still a lot of activity to go. There's still a lot of cotton candy and ice cream melting on Dad's pickup seat to go. But what else is happening right now today?
That is for sure. You mentioned the cotton candy and the ice cream, and there is a lot of opportunity for that coming up. Once again, a lot of great things going on this weekend. This weekend is the weekend of the Spudman Triathlon. We want to welcome all the racers that are coming to town for the race. It's such a great event. The Lions Club does a spectacular job of putting on such a stellar event. It's interesting. I was visiting with someone the other day. He's a racer, and he's participating in the Spudman, and he just said that anytime he talks to somebody that he knows down in the Utah northern Utah area, and he went to school down there, that they all say, oh yeah, we know where that is. We know about the Spudman. That's such a great event. And it's nice to be known for some of these great events that we put on here, that people recognize us for our hospitality, the way the event is organized, and so that's always very nice to be known as a hospitable area.
Well, you, right there in that big 20 by 30 picture window that you've had installed in your office, you can watch almost a lot of it right there in the river, can't you?
Yeah, with the trees weren't so big and in my way. We've got a lot of beautiful trees there. That is part of the Arboretum, and so we've got a lot of beautiful trees in the park by my office. So I would have to actually probably step outside of my office to really see. But you can see a lot of at least the swim course from the other side of the river. But the best place to be if you want to be a spectator, man, just get right over there and get right in the heart of it. It is so exciting, and it really is a lot of fun. Or just set up along the run course or the bike course somewhere and just cheer the racers on, because they really do appreciate that, and they really do enjoy that.
Kay, I would imagine that right now, midsummer, looking towards the last week of July, you're probably getting a lot of tourists coming through here. Had any experiences that you want to relate to us this day?
Oh, we've had a lot of people, and I actually took a couple days off and went to a family reunion with my family, which was fun because that's what you do this time of year. And, getting back into the office, I've been very busy, but I know Jesus and Jackie and Heather have been very busy helping visitors and people from all over. And it's so much fun to interact with them.
Okay. Anything else special that you want to mention on behalf of the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce before we wrap things up?
Well, this weekend is the Star Party up to Pomerelle. That's always super fun. You can ride the lift to the top, and they have the telescope set up on top of the mountain where you're up and out of all of the light from the cities and everything. So if you're looking for something fun to do Saturday night, the Star Party up at Pomerelle is great. And then Once Upon a Mattress is still playing out to Oakley. I believe Fame is playing this week over in Rupert. And so lots of things going on. Check out our calendar of events. And come by and see us next week at the Minidoka County Fair. We'll be set up over there. We'll be playing our Mini-Cassia trivia like we do at both the Minidoka and the Cassia County Fairs. So come by and see us and say hello. And just enjoy summer and be safe and be careful.
All right, and if they have questions, you have about 900 ways to get a hold of the Chamber. Give us just a few.
Well, come by and see us. We'd love to see you. We're located at 1177 7th Street in Hebron, right on the beautiful Snake River. Or give us a call at 208-679-4793. Find us at minicassiachamber.com, and that's where you'll find our calendar of events of all the great things going on. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
All right. There's the lovely Kay Cameron over at the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. Kay, God bless. Have a wonderful week. We'll talk to you next Thursday.
Sounds great.
Thank you. Nice lady right there. Hey, don't forget the Lincoln County Fair and Rodeo. Today, Thursday, they're going to have their big parade at about 6 o'clock tonight. And then they're all going to head out to the rodeo grounds in Shoshone, and they're going to have a junior rodeo. Watch the kids. That's what it's all about. Then on Friday and Saturday, don't forget the big IMPRA rodeo. And then on Sunday, they're not done yet. Man, no. Sunday, they've got a special event at 4 p.m. Antique Tractor Pull. All of this and so much more at the Lincoln County Fair and Rodeo for 2014. Everybody head up to Shoshone. It's time now for one of my favorite segments on the radio, and that's with the lovely Miss Vicki at Vicki's Country Garden. It's time for Gardening for Idiots, named after me. And Vicki's Country Garden is the sponsoring agent, 185 South, 600 West of Paul. Number to call, 438-5663. Vicki, it's almost time to eat the fruits of our labor in our garden.
Yes, it is, Deb. There's a lot of stuff starting to set on right now. I've got customers coming in
letting me know about all the zucchini starting to set on. So look out, here we go.
Well, look out, here we go. Now, as we draw closer to really enjoying, like I said, the fruits of our labors, what more do we need to be watchful and wary of as far as taking care of our garden?
Basically, right now, it's the insects that we're starting to see a lot of. I mean, the grasshoppers are out, so you're going to have some problems with grasshoppers starting to eat on flowers and on leaves and things like that. We've got a lot of earwigs out. The slugs have kind of backed off now because of the fact that it's gotten hot. But the earwigs and stuff are still coming out in full force and doing some damage on things. If you've got cabbage and that type of thing, you need to get your dusts on your cabbages so that the cabbage worms don't eat them up before you do. Because they're out in full force right now, so you need to use either the biological dust or the chemicals, like a 7 dust or something to that effect, on your cabbages. That and the blight that's setting in, we're starting to see some people over, watering pretty heavy with the heat coming up. We're getting some powdery mildew into some of the squashes. We've got squash bugs, squash beetles that are eating on the squashes. So there again, it's put your insecticides down, get your sprays out, your granules out to keep the bugs from beating you to the fruits and vegetables. Get your fruit trees, keep spraying on the fruit trees because the bugs will be working on them also. And we've also got a lot of problems we're seeing on a daily basis. We've got the sod webworm that's really showing up in the lawns right now.
Okay.
Which are the little brown spots. So before you start watering too heavy, go out and check and see if it's really dry or if it is just dead grass. And if it's dead grass, we need to get some chemical down to stop the lawn bugs at the same time. This is bug season right now. Everybody's happy. It's warm. Everybody's got lots of moisture. Temperatures are hot, and there's lots of things to eat, so the bugs are happy too.
Well, there's just there's a never-ending battle with some of nature's own coming back and saying, no, you won't either. But as far as protecting the garden right now, I would imagine the heat, the bugs, there's just a lot of things before you satisfy yourself with that ear of corn or have some of those radishes or whatever. I mean, you got to take care of that garden still. It's not done yet.
Oh, this is the crucial time in the gardens right now, is to keep the watering going because you've got plants that are using a lot more water now. I mean, with the heat and that type of thing, and so consequently, you need the watering is very crucial right now on corn and that type of thing. If the corn isn't growing like you think it should be, if it's staying short, this is the time also in your garden to boost your fertilizer. If you fertilized in the spring, this is a real good time to come in and do, like we call it, like a side dressing of fertilizer on your garden, especially on corn right now. Corn's a very high nitrogen feeder, needs an extra boost about right now to get it going and to get some size on those stalks and get some size on those ears. So this is probably the high point of the season as far as the garden goes, because now's the time to give it that boost of fertilizer so that it can produce the fruits you want. You've got the size of your plants. Also, keep your watering under control. Don't overwater, but by all means don't underwater right now. And watch out for the bugs and keep the blights and stuff like that out. So this is a very, very critical time.
All right, Vicki, one other thing, too, before we break away for the day. I would imagine that right now, midsummer, it's hard to believe, like I was talking to Kay Cameron at the Chamber of Commerce just a moment ago, it's hard to believe it's almost the end of July, and if people have those projects for landscaping, they'd better get in there and talk to you about their landscape needs.
Well, this is true, Zeb. I mean, now things, it's going to start cooling. I mean, unfortunately, we're going to start cooling down some, I'm sure, here in the next few weeks. But this is a great time to finish up some landscape projects. Get your weed mat down, get your bark, your rock, and things like that put in place, and have it ready, and get a lot of landscaping and stuff started and get it done for next year so you can move on to other projects. But we've got all of the things that you need. We've got the bark, and we've got all the rocks. We've got 3 different varieties of rocks to go down. We've got all the different barks to put in, and we've got the weed mat fabric and all that. And we will be bringing in some new perennials here within the next couple of weeks, so that there'll be some nice plants that you can go in with and enjoy your garden and enjoy your yard and just take the rest of the summer and sit back and watch it all grow.
Now, tell everybody from the bark and the rock and everything else that they've got for your landscaping and your garden needs. What about the chemicals? You've got everything over there at Vicky's Country Garden, don't you?
We do. We carry the Fertilome products, and that's a complete array of a wide variety of chemicals. Every chemical you can imagine, we've got it, and to do all of the things we've got for the diseases, we've got for insects, we've got the diatomaceous earth, which is the organic stuff. We can pretty much take care of any critters that you've got. Just come in and talk to us, and we'll diagnose what's going on and send you home with the proper chemical. And our chemicals are 10% off right now, so consequently that makes it a good time to stock up and buy for the fall and even for next year. So, because I'm sure everything, as we know, is going to be going up next year. So, if it's chemical you're using on a regular basis, stock up on it now. Like for instance, 7 or something like that, because it won't be on the market next year. So.
Oh, my. All right, well, this lady knows. I mean, when it comes to gardening and landscaping and what you can do to have a better garden, she knows. Miss Vicky at Vicky's Country Garden, 185 South, 600 West of Paul. Number to call, 438-5663. Vicky, God bless you. We'll talk to you next Thursday, and enjoy your garden.
Thanks, Seth. Have a good weekend.
Thank you much. I appreciate it. What a nice lady right there. You got to get over and stop and visit with her. It's been our fortune to know her over the years. Thank you very much, Vicky's Country Gardens. Oh, my, let's see. Oh, let's ride. Yes, let's do. Get on the old bikes and away you go. I don't care if it's on the dirt bikes, the street bikes, the side-by-sides, the ATVs. Just get out of Dodge. I'm telling you, and over at Let's Ride, Highway 24 between Rupert and Burley, they've got the 2015 models that are coming in now, and some super rebates on 2014 models. And they got all the generators on sale, too. For all your camping needs, you better stop in and check it out. And I'll tell you one thing, they've got a service department second to none. These guys really, really care and get you fixed up and get you going. Oh, and by the way, all the accessories you need, too. It's all there at Let's Ride, Highway 24, between Rupert and Burley, where the fun is sold. By the way, a quick note. The Wounded Warriors Benefit Shoot is going to be sponsored this Saturday by the Southern Idaho Muzzle Loaders Association. It's going to be at the Jerome Gun Club shooting range, and you take on Highway 7593, milepost 64, and you're headed towards Shoshone. You can't miss it, and if you do, you shouldn't be driving anyway. Bring your black powder muzzle loading rifles and pistols, and it's a suggested donation of $7. Starts at 9 o'clock on Saturday, July 26th. Don't miss it. For more information, call my old buddy, old is the key word, Leon Reed, 329-0941. Oh, and by the way, don't forget, too, our friends at Cameron and Siemens Insurance, life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits. These guys, Dean and Todd, they're there at their office, and they really, really care. I mean, when the calls come in, they're there to serve you, setting up appointments to make sure that they're ready to devote their time to making sure you're covered. So call them, 436-4424. That number again, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Really, really nice people. Where in the world did all these doggone dogs come from anyway, for heaven's sakes? I don't know, but we got a Doberman over here. We've got a little Dachshund over here. We got a poodle. Look at a poodle over here. My goodness sakes. Now, I understand that Officer Mort is out with his net trying to catch something, and here now is his assistant officer in charge wearing her khaki. Here she is, Gina Jameson.
Thank you, sir. Actually, Officer Morty's doing a transport today. He's transporting some dogs to a rescue. So I think over in Montana, so that is what he's doing today. The dog that we're going to feature today is Joey. Now, Joey is a Jack Russell Terrier cross. He is tan and white. He's about 1 to 2 years old. Very, very friendly. Absolutely loves to cuddle and to be held. And he was a dog at large. They're still waiting for the owners to come forward, but they have not yet. And so if they don't, then Joey is going to be up for adoption coming up on Monday. Cute little guy. You can find a picture of him posted up on Zeb's Facebook page. And if you would like to make the play date with Joey or any one of the other available pups at the Minidoka Joint Animal Control Shelter, you can always give him a call at 438-2200 or Officer Ken Mort at 670-7268.
Now tell me, what kind of a dog did you say Joey was again?
Joey is a Jack Russell Terrier cross.
Oh, my.
He's a little guy.
Okay.
He's a little guy. Yeah.
And, you did an excellent job as Officer Mort. We're just going to say Officer Jameson. What else have you got?
Yes, I know. Well, this is what I've got. Okay, so a little situation happened last night, and you're going to hear me rant for about, 60 seconds. James and I, my boyfriend and I, were out in front of my house just kind of enjoying the evening before we went to bed. And here it comes, this little itty-bitty white dog is like a Chihuahua cross mix. Just running for his life, literally. Yipping, yelling, screaming, crying, running for his life. Directly on his heels. Now, I want people to understand that I'm a pit bull lover. I'm a bad owner hater, but I'm a pit bull lover. So directly on this little dog's heels is a pit bull. Attacked the dog right in front of my house on the intersection of 5th and I. And this pit bull was just literally shaking this little dog to death.
Oh.
My boyfriend and I, we ran out there, we broke it up. I got bit, James got bit. Luckily, we were able to save this little dog's life. Of course, Dr. Bill over at the Ark Animal Clinic, he took my call at 10 o'clock at night. I mean, here I am, frantic, trying to find the owners. The owners live somewhere around, but they couldn't be found at that point in time. So I took the dog over to Ark Animal Clinic, and the dog is in fairly good condition right now, getting some x-rays. But this is what I have to say. Number one, if you live in the cities of Rupert, Burley, Hayburn, Paul, you have to have your dog on a leash. They cannot be running at large at any point in time.
That's right.
Number two, you always have to have your dog tagged and licensed within that city that you reside in. Had somebody had that dog tagged that I saved, I would know who the owner was.
Right.
I still don't know who the owner is. Number three, if you have your dogs out running at large at 10 o'clock at night, if the officers will come, they will pick them up. Period, point blank. So don't be a bad owner. Be a good dog owner. Take care of your pets. Make sure that they have their licenses. Make sure that you always keep them in on their leash, on a chain, or inside of a fenced yard if they're not always in your sight.
All right, I got a question for you.
Yes.
Now, number one, and I mean this to be of great concern, did either of the dogs show that they had vaccination tags or had been vaccinated and everything? Because for your safety and James being bit, I mean, you're probably going to have to be somewhat under surveillance for a period of time also, aren't you?
Yes, we will. I did talk to, when we took the dog into Dr. Bill, that was, of course, one of my concerns. So I cleaned James and I, washed our hands and washed our wounds very, very well. And still a little sore, but that's going to happen with a little dog bite. And I'm not going to blame the dog for biting me because he was scared. He was in shock. He didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
And so he was just, that's what dogs do. So, we do have to be very careful, but there were no tags on this little dog to let us know whether he had his shots or not. Now, I do know that the owners live in the 300 block of I Street in Rupert. They still have yet to contact me. They still have yet to contact Ark Animal Hospital. And if they don't by the end of the day, then I'm going to take ownership of the dog, and I'm going to make sure that dog is happy and healthy. People have already started pouring in donations for the vet bill that's going to be mounting, and then I'm going to put this dog up for adoption.
Okay, well, what about the other dog, though, the main perpetrator?
I got the description of the dog. I did file a police report. Officers are in the look searching for this dog that the owner resides somewhere within the vicinity of 4th and 6th in Rupert, and I and K. So right over there by the K Street Park. And as far as I'm concerned, it was a brown male pit bull with white socks wearing a harness.
Okay.
So if anybody sees that dog, please contact the Rupert Police Department.
Or They could call you right there at the radio station, too, couldn't they?
Yes, they can always call me here at the radio station, 436-2244, or if it's after 11 o'clock, you can call me at 436-0999, because not only does the owner of the dog that was injured need to come forward, but the owner of the perpetrator dog needs to come forward.
Absolutely.
That bill.
Hey, I'm glad you're okay, though. I mean, as far as, I don't mean okay, nothing's happened or everything's just rosy, because being bit by a dog is a scary circumstance. But I certainly appreciate the fact that you're able to talk about it. Everything's okay, hopefully, and we'll find the owners.
Yes, hopefully so. And, of course, I will always love my furry little friends, and so when I see a friend in need, I will be a friend indeed.
Okay. Gina, thank you so much, and I'm, again, glad that you're okay.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Who in the world let those dogs out? Minidoka Animal Control, Officer Ken Moore, Gina filling in. Excellent job this morning. Thank you so much. Hey, by the way, the Chadwick Sports Grill. I got to tell you, today they're having Salisbury steaks with brown gravy, choice of spuds, vegetable, and super salad for just $8.95. Oh, I've had so many people respond to the different menu items daily at the Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley. Oh, my. It has been great. You'll stop in there and enjoy the menu, enjoy the people, enjoy the service at the Chadwick Sports Grill. Again today with the special Salisbury steaks with brown gravy, choice of potato, vegetables, and super salad, just $8.95. It is good eating. You can bet on it. It's Thursday, and right now we say good morning to the lovely Rita Ramsey. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm not too bad, Rita. Thanks for being on the program. Rita, I think I know your politics. I think I know your attitude, and I made a comment the first hour that I am fed up with the government, our government, shuttling and shuffling every problem that they've incurred over to you and I, the taxpayer. And I was referring primarily to these illegal alien children coming up here from South America, and basically it's Rita Ramsey's fault and Zeb Bell's fault. You pay. That's basically what's happening right now.
It's quite interesting how the founders set it up so that you and I would kind of be in charge of ourselves, and the federal government would do a little bit, and then the states would take charge of what they needed to. But basically we would have freedoms. And then they turn it all around, and the government decides they're going to be in charge of everything until all of a sudden it's like, oh, holy cow, we're going to have to make citizens pay for all of this. It is absolutely horrible that they're not doing their job, which is to protect the American people. And it makes you think that, and I don't know, I can't help but think this, that they're doing this on purpose to ruin our country or to take our country down. I heard somebody mention yesterday, and I haven't read a lot about it, and I don't know a lot, so I could stand to be corrected, but I heard someone say this, and I did a little bit of research in it. From what I can read, it does play into it. The fall of the Western Roman Empire was because they did not have their borders secured. There were barbarians that came invading in and wouldn't let them, go on with their way of life the way that it was, and they just kept coming in and invading them, and pretty soon it took down their country.
Well, here's where we're at as far as I'm concerned. We have no border control. We have an administration that wants nothing more than open borders, porous borders, with many of these people coming in that are going to accept the fact that they're beholding to the Obama administration and the Democrats, and then during elections they will vote that way so that the stronger Democratic base possibly could stay in order and power for at least another 25 years. This is nothing more than pandering for a vote. It's playing pure, filthy politics, and it's not for the benefit of the American public. Do you think I'm wrong or right?
No, I think that you are right, and I also think that I can't for the life of me figure out why Jan Brewer and Governor Perry haven't already set troops on the borders and tell Obama to just, take it and forget it. Go ahead and sue me. You know, I mean, that's what he's threatened to do. But why have they not already done it and secured their states? They're going to lose part of their states to Hispanic people who come up here. And why in the world they want to come here and take over America? Why don't they just stay in Mexico? Because once they get here, they want to turn us into Mexico. They don't want to go by our rules.
Well, Rita, when I heard this morning early at 4:30 this morning on a news cap that the Obama administration, the White House, basically said to ICE, Immigration and Customs, do not send your people out in the field. Do not do anything except stay in the office on the border towns and do nothing. And also, don't let your people talk to the press. Don't talk about this situation. Rita, they're not protecting you and I, the American taxpayer. They're doing more to protect the illegal aliens coming in at our expense.
Well, and you know, if these illegal aliens were just people who are really fleeing from the bad things that happened to them in Central America and that kind of thing, you know, that might be a whole different story, but that's not who's coming across. That's not the only ones. We are not actually sifting out and getting the real lawbreakers that are coming across to do nefarious things to our country and cause harm to us.
How do we know? And I'm going to go back to this because really I'm just taking the word of what's happening here locally through the CSI Refugee Center. I called there the other day and left a message, and the gentleman did call me back, and unfortunately he had to leave a message for me. I haven't had a chance to visit with him one-on-one. Ron Black, the administrator of the CSI Refugee Center. How do we know? What guarantees do we have that CSI is not going to be involved in bringing and transporting some of these illegal alien children here?
Well, you know, we don't, but I did hear someone say, and I haven't had a chance to look it up and check, but there was a report that I heard a couple of days ago, 3 or 4 days ago, that said that there were 1,200 cities across America that had received HUD grants. And as part of those grants, of which those cities who received them probably had no idea this is what they were signing up for, but because of those HUD grants, they had agreed to take in refugees. And so all of a sudden now this starts to make sense. Okay, we're going to ship them to this city because we gave them a HUD grant. It's basically the same thing that the federal government did with the Common Core. Oh, we want to help you out and help you get rid of No Child Left Behind. And by the way, we know that you're strapped for money, and so here's the money. You take on Common Core, and we'll let you get rid of No Child Left Behind and give you this money, and you sign up to have federal government education. And a lot of them had no idea what they were signing up for before they got it. They didn't check into it. They didn't read the fine print. And if that's the case with this HUD money for 1,200 cities across the nation, I guess we need to check with the city of Twin Falls and any of the other cities and see if they got HUD grants for housing and find out if there are going to be refugees coming to our area.
Rita, I hate to be simplistic, and I hate to be just so blunt in some regards, but what is the problem? Why is there a problem? Why can't they just say at the borders, I'm sorry, you're not coming in here? I mean, why are we absorbing all of these people?
Well, that's what my big question is. We know why the Democrats want it, but when you've got Republican governors of the 3 border states that are most affected right now, because California has their border shut off. Yeah. Why have those Republican governors not just gone down there and said, you know what, we don't really care what the federal government says, we're going to do this. And, you know, they have the authority to kick in a tax of some type, whether it's a sales tax or whatever else, in order to protect their state. And they could immediately call their representatives and their Senate and say, hey, we've got to have an emergency vote. You've got to vote and approve a 1% or a 2% sales tax on everything in the state or whatever, so that we have money to pay our National Guard to keep our borders safe, because until the federal government kicks in and helps us pay for it, which we know they won't, we have to be able to pay these people. So it all seems like it's political. And, you know, for Governor Perry to say, yeah, I'm going to put the National Guard on the border, and then all of a sudden we find out, well, in 30 days he'll have them on the border. You know what? If they had an emergency, it would only take within a few hours, and there would be National Guard down there if he asked for it.
Well, absolutely, but I don't understand. I hate to be so simplistic, but Rita, there is nothing in the Constitution that I know of. If you know of a little part of it that I'm not concerning myself with, tell me. But there's no part of our Constitution that says that you and me as taxpayers and citizens have to absorb the cost to pay for someone else that is an illegal alien. But that's what's happening, and the government is aiding and abetting the transportation of illegal aliens, which is illegal against the Constitution, and nobody's saying anything about this.
That's just the problem. People are not saying anything. If we went out in massive force and started screaming and hollering and protesting, something would be done. But they know that we're asleep. They know that people don't care. They know that people are just sitting back and, oh yeah, they're complaining a little bit, but they won't do anything. So we can do whatever we want. It's just a matter of the citizens not standing up and screaming and hollering and saying no more.
Well, yeah, but there again, though, we put into office our senators and congressmen that are supposed to be diligently serving their constituents, i.e. you and me. That's not being done. They're absolutely sitting there like bumps on a log, and they're just giving lip service when the cameras are rolling. But really, you tell me, what is being done?
They're not doing anything, and that really bothers me, because you would think that there would be enough of them banding together with those few that are really up in arms about it and go to the president and say, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to do whatever we need to do, and we'll just override you, whatever. But, they won't do it, and so it's kind of like, okay, why? What's in it for them? The only thing that I can think of is two things: money and power. They must have some money promised to them. They must have power promised to them to let this keep happening, because they're not doing anything. I want to know where our Senate and Congress are on this. I haven't heard any of them saying anything about it. You hear a few of the ones. There's Mike Lee and Ted Cruz and Jason Chaffetz, and there's a few other Congress people. Even Rubio last night was on saying a few things, but he didn't seem real passionate about it, and it makes me wonder, who's got their hands tied? What have they got against him that they're holding him back from saying, hey, we better do something, and we better do it now. We've got an emergency here.
Well, yeah, but you see, there's the key word. I'm glad you said emergency. Tell me right now, if you can recall in the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years where we've been in as much of an emergency situation as we are right now. I mean, we're talking about a serious crisis over in the Middle East. We're talking about our number one ally, Israel, being surrounded by bad guys, and they want to obliterate Israel from the face of the earth. I don't see any support from John Kerry as Secretary of State or Barack Obama. I don't see any assistance there. We've got an economic problem in this country. We've got a lack of energy problem in this country. We've got a loose border problem in this country. I have never been more worried about the sanctity of the United States than I am right now.
We should all be concerned about it, and that's why it really is problematic that our Congress and Senate aren't just up in arms about this and doing something. They're just all sitting back kind of like, well, the president's off on a campaign tour, so I guess we don't need to do anything. And what are they doing? Are they doing anything? Because I don't think they are, or stuff would be happening.
All right, we've got to
start with the states.
We've got a caller with a question. Real quick, caller. Go ahead, please.
Yes, so many times I have talked to Mike Crapo and asked him why we never hear anything from him or Risch. And he says, well, we're talking, we're doing stuff, but the media doesn't cover it. And I don't know what to think about it, but I always hear about Ted Cruz, Mike Lee, and Rand Paul and others. And I hear Jason Chaffetz out of Utah, Congressman. We never hear anything after the Republican Party got Mr. Simpson reelected. What have we heard? What have we done? What did it get us, Republican Party? What did it get us? Okay, I just want somebody to answer that. And then when we don't hear from our own people in the state, we're going to have absolutely no trouble getting reelected. It burns my you-know-what. No, hang up. Thanks.
Rita, he brings up an excellent point. I feel sometimes like the tail wagging the dog. I don't feel like I should have to run after these guys, be it Crapo, be it Risch, be it Simpson, be it whomever. They should be calling radio stations and saying, hey, I want some time so I can report into our constituents and let them know what we're doing. It's not that way. We have to chase them down like they're some special kind of a person.
Well, that's just it. We place crowns on their head and treat them like royalty instead of acting like they're our servants, of which they are. They're our servants and they should be reporting to us. But it all comes down to what we expect. It's just like with kids. If you don't expect certain things out of them, how are you going to get it? So you have to have expectations out of them and require it before they start getting, oh yeah, I'm going to have to answer to this person. I'm going to have to do this and that and the other. But we have just sat back and let them have the reins. We figured that we elected reputable, good people, honest people that would see to our best interest, and then we go about and do our regular thing, which is making a living and helping the commerce in this country keep moving. And they're off just, taking in the money and selling us down the river instead of doing what needs to be done. And that's the part that's really sad. It's just like Randy said, what did we get with Simpson? We reelected all of the same people. We just took all the incumbents. We tossed aside any of the things about getting Idaho's economy moving or anything else, or getting rid of the Obamacare exchanges or any of that kind of stuff that we could do, even getting rid of Common Core. And we kept the same people. Now, what's happening? Have you heard any of them saying anything, or we're working on this, or there was enough people that came out and said they wanted us to do something, maybe we ought to listen? Instead, it's kind of like, no, we're going to keep doing our own thing. And that's why there's a lot of contention right now in the Idaho GOP.
Absolutely. Rita, stay right there, please. I'll be right back after I get a weather forecast in. And the weather this hour with MichaelRogersWeather.com is brought to everyone by Sportsman's Warehouse, 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard in Twin Falls. Hey, it is the great indoors for those who love the great outdoors. What a fantastic store. Quality gear, friendly experts, down-home attitude for all your hunting needs, fishing needs, archery, camping, boating, ATV, everything is at Sportsman's Warehouse in Twin Falls. And right now here is MichaelRogersWeather.com.
Hey everyone, Michael Rogers for Zebra the Ranch. How you doing? You're going to be cool today, sunny high 76. The bad news, since you get a red flag warning for much of the Magic Valley from your area, southeast, and also north, as far north as Cruise of the Moon Park. And the bad news that goes along with that red flag warning is that it's going to be breezy today. You can have winds gusting to about close to 35 miles an hour, coming out of the west, 18 to 22 miles an hour. Pretty dry in the Magic Valley. Now, as far as warming up, you'll get up to about 94 by the time you get to Saturday. But other than that, cool day, breezy day, red flag warning, but a lot of sun, very little cloud. Enjoy the weather, so what do you got?
Thank you, Michael. Brought to everybody by Sportsman's Warehouse, 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard in Twin Falls with my buddy Reese Widmeyer. The great indoors for those who love the great outdoors. Rita, let me ask you this. I came out the other day and I said that how bitterly opposed I was to Obama and the way he conducts his presidency. I've had people criticize me for criticizing him, but I still maintain that this man is like Nero, fiddling while Rome burns, fundraisers, almost every other day, using taxpayer dollars to fly hither and yon to solicit money for the Democratic base. I'm offended by this.
Well, this is another reason why when we have elections, we should look at the person that has the experience and who's willing to do the job. All people had to do, if they would have done it, would be to look at his record as a state senator and a state representative. He didn't have anything except present votes. So he never made a decision. He never took responsibility for a decision he made. Of course, the only one that he did make was, we've talked about it before, was the one about whether or not they could try to comfort these babies that had been aborted until they finally died. And that was They didn't want that to happen, and so that was the thing that he ran on. But he didn't do anything except present votes. I vote present, I'm here, but I'm not going to take one stand or another. We should have known. That's what we got. That's what the majority of America wanted. I still wonder if there was a lot of voter fraud in there, but we got what we got, and it's because people went ahead and said, you know what, I just like him because I still don't know what the reasons for liking him, but that's what we got.
Yeah. Rita, final thoughts here this morning, but there looks to be still some opportunity that Obamacare might fall flat on its face on the pavement someplace and start to fall apart like a cheap suit. Some of these federal courts are looking at it in various states, and they're saying, subsidies aren't legal. And then some federal courts are trying to regather things and saying, oh, yes, they are. You know what? If all of a sudden this thing starts to unravel, I think, honestly, that there is a good chance Obamacare will die a needy death.
Well, I think that's really true, and the part that's sad is that those states who took on the exchanges are still hung out to dry with it. Whether it falls or not, we're going to have to pay for it. And so it's sad that we actually took that on. That was what the big rift in the Idaho GOP was all about, was over those health care exchange set up. But it will probably die, and hopefully it will die soon. The problem is there's a lot of people who paid for it, who got registered and got put on it and thought they had health care coverage. And a lot of them are starting to find out, first of all, that they didn't, and second of all, what will they do if it fails? So it's kind of a bad deal, and these people that were depending on it because that was the only thing they could get, that's a sad deal. And there were a lot of people who thought they were going to get it for free, and that's equally as sad. But it's not. It cannot live. It won't. It will take our country down economically if it continues.
Final, I got about 2 minutes left here, Rita, and the disarray of the Republican Party in the state of Idaho and the Democrats and the sniping from even the newspapers, especially our new Democratic rag, the Times News, they seem to be just absolutely taking a pair of shears and going snip, snip, snip and really going after the Republicans. Why do the Republicans continue to have the infighting, and why can't they realize they better start patching things up now before it's too late?
Well, one of the biggest wrinkles in the party is that when the elections got over, they found out that there were a lot of precinct committee people who had been elected that were more conservative than the good old boys in the state. And when they got to their meeting up in Moscow, they found out that they were over, had way more. All of a sudden my mind went blank. They had a lot more people who were of the way conservative vote than of the others, and so they tried to stave off any kinds of votes or changes. And then after that was all over with and they had to just leave it at a draw, they weren't willing to settle for that, and so you've had a couple of people trying to take it on themselves and start with a new meeting. Well, let's have another meeting, and let's do this, and let's do that. Well, that's not in the bylaws, and they can't do that. And now a lawsuit has been filed against Ms. Sidaway and Mr. Matthews because they've been trying to make all kinds of stuff happen. But they found out that they were outnumbered, and they did not want to vote because they knew that some of the platforms would change, and they didn't want it changed, and it was because of the new people who were elected to go there and make the votes.
It's a mess, and I hope they realize that all they're doing is cutting their own throat, so to speak. And right now, we need unity, we need power, not only on a state basis, but nationwide, because I honestly believe the November 14th elections are going to be more critical than 2016.
Oh, yeah, I think that they will. However, we'll still keep our Senate and our senators. However, if things go true to follow, like a lot of people are saying, they're just plain mad at Simpson, and Simpson could lose his seat, and Governor Otter could lose to a Democrat over all of this, and it's because they will not unify and say, you know what, there's a ton of people in the Republican Party that we need to gather their support, and so maybe we ought to see a few things that they want, like maybe let's get rid of Common Core, and let's get things going along on the federal lands coming back to Idaho so that we can open up our resources and stuff. But the governor won't do it, and none of the other representatives are about to, because they're standing their old hard line. And if that happens, we could be in jeopardy of losing the Republican on a couple of those stances.
I agree. Rita Ramsey, real fast. I only got about 20 seconds left. Tea Party, what's going on?
Well, we're just trying to get everybody informed about Agenda 21 and Common Core, and that's what we're going to be going with. I'm not totally sure about our meeting for this for August, because it's during Cassia County Fair Week, and so we may have to change it and just put it off to September. But as soon as that's decided, I'll let everybody know what we came up with.
All right, Rita, thanks so much for being on the program this morning. God bless. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
You bet. Lovely lady, Rita Ramsey. Thank you so much. Hey, by the way, Harris Plumbing NG for all your plumbing service needs. One call, that's all. 431-8633. Harris Plumbing NG. Reliable, responsible, professional, and the job is done right. I have been very impressed with these folks. They are our plumber. You check it out. Call them, Harris Plumbing NG. For all your plumbing service needs, 431-8633. Excellent, folks. Oh, man, I am right now starving to death. Oh, boy, I know some great places to go if you're hungry and starving to death. How about let's go to Taco Bandito. Southern baked burrito, either soft shell or grilled shell. Chicken or steak made a special way that only Kip knows how to do. Oh, it's good. How about a tamalito burrito? How about taco salad burrito? It's all there, all great at Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. How about let's move over now to Maybe Burgers, etc. Two locations, 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 North Overland in Burley. Summer's here, and to celebrate, Burgers, etc. has 16-ounce root beer floats after 3 p.m. for only 99 cents. Make me a dozen. I love them. And they've got the hamburgers and the cheeseburgers and everything else. And every Sunday at the Burley location, they've got a shrimp dinner special. Burgers, etc. in Rupert and Burley. Don't forget that. Hey, how about Steve-O's? 290 South, 600 West of Heyburn. Food made the way you like it. Delicious. The patio's open, and they got a new entryway, and they've got a delicious menu. Oh, friendly servers, dedicated staff. I love the pork chops with salad and choice of spuds. You're going to have a ball over there at Steve-O's, and believe me, try also Steve-O's nacho fries, topped with cheese and jalapeno peppers. Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 West of Heyburn. And Duck Uglies. I love that name. Duck Ugly, 163 West Highway 30 in Burley, right next to Berry Equipment and Rental. Have you had that ribeye steak? Oh, it is fantabulous. New York steaks and shrimp and salmon and all kinds of great sandwiches. Duck Uglies is a kid and family-friendly, non-smoking environment, and it is good. Duck Uglies, 163 West Highway 30 in Burley. Don't forget them. And the AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley. Oh, my. Combo meals, any burger with fries and drink. And they've got 3-piece fish and chips with small fry, only $7 1/4. The famous Farmer Brown burgers, ranch burgers. Oh, you're going to love it. And they can make any kind of milkshake you come up with. It's delicious. AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. You stop in and see them today. And those are just a few places to go if you're hungry and starving to death. Oh, I don't even have to ask. She just turned her microphone on. I heard it.
Duh. I didn't get my biscuits and gravy this morning, and I'm just so craving it. So as soon as we're done with the show, I'm going to go get myself some biscuits.
I had a half a grapefruit that I managed to spill in my lap, and then I had 2 eggs and half of a kind of a, what is that, Deanna? English muffin? And that's it. And I got to be honest with you, that was at 4:30, and right now I could chew this microphone.
Okay, so here's my question. Maybe this is just kind of dumb because I don't know. Why don't you just have like the grapefruit and then maybe 20 minutes later the toast and then maybe 20 minutes later the eggs, and so it kind of fills you up and it keeps you going throughout the morning.
Nah.
Instead of just eating it all at once.
Nah, I'm one of these guys, once I start, babe, I ain't going to quit.
You ain't stopping. Understood.
Hey, we've got to take a little break. We'll be back with some of our great guests right after this. News Next ABC. Oh my, here we are, third hour on a Thursday, July 24th. Good morning, everybody. I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, and welcome our major sponsor providing all the goodies for you, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations. Thank you very much. Along with some of our great advertisers, and they include Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, and our friends at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley, to whom we are talking right now. Good morning, Lee's Furniture.
Well, good morning, Zeb. I'm not sure I can quite hear you. Can you hear me okay?
You're coming through absolutely fantastic. I'm sorry if you're having a little trouble. We'll have Gina maybe turn it up a little bit in your ears. So how's that?
Well, I can still barely hear you there, but that's okay. I'd still like to be able to share some of the specials that we've got.
Okay.
I would like to extend an invitation to everyone out there and let them know that we've got some great specials here in the store in all of our departments. We've got mattresses, and we've got recliners. We've got a new shipment of floor curtain that come in. So, Zeb, where would you like me to start?
Man, I'll tell you what. Let's talk about a good night's sleep on a Simmons mattress. Let's start there.
That's great. In fact, we just received a new shipment in. All of our mattresses right now, Zeb, are on sale. We know that there's many people out right now that are working harvest or doing many things so they can earn a little extra money, so they can come in and get them a new mattress so they can actually enjoy a good night's sleep. These Simmons mattresses, Zeb, that we carry have the pocketed coil. They are designed specifically for folks like you and I that maybe we're on our feet a lot during the day, a lot of work, a lot of lifting, a lot of moving. When a person is not sleeping well, it's difficult to have a full and productive day. And so for anyone out there that's got a sore back or they're just having difficulty sleeping at night, I would recommend they come in and try these new Beauty Rest pocketed coil mattresses. They really do what they say that they will do.
Now, I tell you what, from a good night's sleep to inviting someone over to your home and talk about the Flex Steel furniture that you've got.
Yeah, in fact, for those who have not seen it, Flex Steel is an amazing brand of furniture. They have a unique construction in that they use flex steel bands to support the seat system. Mm-hmm. So when you sit on it, you have a nice premium plush feel in your seat. And when you sit down, it's very supportive, it's very comfortable, especially for many women who complain that when they're sitting on that old soft couch, it's difficult to be comfortable to visit with company. It's a fantastic experience to be able to sit there and enjoy, feel like your back is supported, you can sit up, visit, and I'll tell you right now that your friends will love your new Flex Steel couch.
Absolutely. Now, along with that, you've got everything for walking on air, and I'm talking about the best of carpet, the best of floor coverings, everything.
Thank you, Zeb. In fact, I'm so grateful you mentioned that. For those of you who are listening that have not had the opportunity to experience the Smart Strand, Mohawk Smart Strand silk carpet, I invite you to come into the store. The Smart Strand silk carpet has a lifetime, and Zeb, when I say that, I mean lifetime stain resistance warranty. And it is the softest carpet that you can possibly feel. If you have grandkids that come over and want to lay on the floor, kids are playing, you want something that's just going to be a carpet that is equal to your family's living style. They can walk across it, beat it up. They're not going to destroy this carpet. It's so easy to clean, so easy to maintain. It's so soft.
It has everything, Zeb, that you look for in a carpet with a family that has an active lifestyle.
Absolutely. Well, Jeff, I tell you what, you did a great job, and I tell you, there's so many great buys down there. And then, of course, you got all the recliners and all the accessories and everything. All of this and more at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Tell us where you're located and give us the hours that you're open.
Zeb, we're located at 459 Overland Avenue. We're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturday, 10 until 5 p.m. We invite everyone to come in and take a look. We did get a new shipment of sofas and recliners in, so there's anything and everything out there that you're looking for, we have here, and it is on sale right now here at Lee Furniture.
Jeff, you always do a great job. Thank you so much at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More, 459 Overland in Burley. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, Zeb.
Thank you, sir. Nice man right there. Appreciate him being on the program. Hey, by the way, too, I want to talk just for a moment to the sugar beet growers out there in the audience. Don't forget that BASF is introducing Preaxor, absolutely the newest form of chemistry for your sugar beets to fight disease and potentially increase yield and sugar content of your sugar beets. Preaxor contains headline and a new compound, Xemium, that also provides excellent control of powdery mildew. As I said, with the application of BASF's Preaxor, 45 to 60 days prior to harvest, you have the potential, of higher yields and more sugar content in your sugar beets. Contact your local Ag Chem supplier today for more information, or call our dear friend BASF's Ron Ellis at 431-6776 or Tim Perry at 844-0682. Remember BASF's Preaxor for your better sugar beets. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for School Days in Cassia County, and it's a segment that we started a couple of months ago, really caught on in popularity, and it's sponsored by a couple of great businesses, Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley. All the cute clothes for the kids and all the shoes and all the gift ideas for upcoming birthday presents, they've got it all for you right there. Games, you better believe it. It's all at 1308 Overland in Burley, Child's World. You stop in and see these folks today, and gift wrapping always free. And also our thanks goes out to the Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Drive in Burley. A lot of people saving lots of money by having surgery procedures done at surgery centers, just like the Ambulatory Surgery Center in Burley, saving area people thousands and thousands of dollars. Call 677-8888. Ambulatory Surgery Center and A Child's World, bringing you School Days in Cassia County. Right now we're going to go to the phone line, and we have with us the principal of Declo Elementary School, and his name is Kevin Lloyd. Good morning, Kevin. How are you?
It's a great day. I'm well. How are you?
Thank you very much for being on our program, School Days in Cassia County. Kevin, I understand that you really have enhanced the interest in reading with the students at Declo Elementary. Is that right?
Well, that's very kind. I'd like to think that they had that before, but it's been a great year.
Well, give a little bit more explanation. I mean, what happened? What kind of incentives did you provide? What happened to make these kids really want to start reading more books?
You know, we really have a supportive PTO, and they really supported us in getting us the things we need, the resources, and one of those has been our AR program, and we moved to a more a complete AR program given to us by the PTO. The incentives that teachers and I have given out were, we gave them the choice that if they made their reading goal, that I would sleep up on top of the roof for an evening, or the teachers would have a fear factor, or they would gift a ticket as they've done the year prior. The kids pushed me a little bit further and asked if they exceeded their goal, if they went past an incredible goal that we set for them, if they could have two incentives. So they chose to put me on top of the school for the night, and the teachers kindly, very kindly, decided to have a fear factor.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, you're a man of your word, and it sounds like, I read in the little pre-program taping that your students read over, is this correct or is this a typo, 50,000 books, is that correct?
Yeah, Yeah, that's minimum. They really quite exceeded that. I have record, and I can document 50,000, but there are a lot more than that, honestly. But yeah, they did an incredible job.
Now, tell us a little bit about the kids themselves and about the books and about why. Why would they want to get involved like this? What really was the motivating factor? Was it you, or what was it?
No, honestly, this was my first year at Declo Elementary, my first year, and honestly, I came and I discovered that there was just a great culture, a long culture of high achievement, of excellence, and honestly, I came and I was fortunate and lucky enough to make the decision just to try to get out of the teacher's way. If you ask what I changed, like scholastically, I can't really say what I have done, but just that I try to support the teachers and what they're doing, try to support the parents and the support of the kids. And honestly, you just get to know the kids and love them. And my goodness, they really did it. The kids just did an amazing job.
Kevin, do you feel that, okay, we're talking about Declo Elementary School, but when you look at education across the board, whether it's LA, whether it's all the way back to New York, are these kids reading as much or like they used to when I was in school? I think there's been a big decline. Do you agree or disagree?
Of reading in school?
Yes.
I think that the direction has gone, and there's oftentimes a pendulum that swings back and forth in education, and honestly, in almost any field. And it'll swing between letting the kids discover reading just by reading to teaching them systematically and step-by-step type of thing, and swings back and forth. The success that I hope to find and hope to continue to find and to push forward, it'll be through finding like the middle ground between the two. Letting the kids learn to love to read, and then teaching them how to get information from text and really comprehend. And if they have that love for reading and the skills necessary, so the best of both worlds, you'll have it. As far as historically, honestly, I don't know. I'm 33, and I can tell you my experience, and I come from a line of educators, but I don't know. I can't speak for other places.
All right, now, what did these kids have to do, Kevin? Did they have to fill out kind of a form and describe what they read in the book? Did they have to give a book report? What did they have to do to prove that they read the books?
So what the program simply is, and this is an incentive program, not a curriculum program, but they simply read a book they want to get, and then the corresponding book has a corresponding quiz on the internet. So then they take a quiz asking them comprehension questions based on vocabulary. They take it, they do well, they do poor, it doesn't really matter. It calculates everything, it tabulates and tracks everything, and then it gives me a certain number. Now the number, so a smaller book will be worth half a point. A large, chapter book could be worth, quite a bit of points, dozens of points. And the total points, they ended up getting is 38,999 points. But, each point can be worth more than one book, so, yeah. So we track the comprehension, so the teachers have that extra data point to look and see if the kids are actually understanding what they're reading.
Let me ask you this. Did you personally, as the principal and as the person that had made the wager, quote-unquote, to go stay up on the roof, did you see any personality changes from some of these kids? I don't want to read those books, to where there was really excitement to read more?
This year we really saw a jump, I think, in the achievement and the feelings. Some kids will always drag their feet. They don't quite yet have that love for reading, and you have to treat every kid differently. Every teacher knows that, and especially at Declo and Albion, they know that every kid is unique. And yeah, sometimes we saw kids that just jumped on it. Some kids were phenomenal. They just caught fire and they just went for it. Now, I tell you this, though, the bet was I would sleep up on top of the roof, and I can only honestly say that I came through with half of that goal, because I did spend the night up on top of the roof. However, there wasn't much sleeping. I don't know what I was thinking. I looked at the weather report. People told me I was insane, but it literally had to rain that night versus any other night there could have been. It was a storm. There was no sleeping whatsoever on top of that roof, I promise you.
Okay. Now, what are you going to do for an incentive the next time? If it's not sleeping on the roof, what else have these kids conjured up that they want you to try to do?
Big question. You know what? I'm going to do something really smart here, I promise you. I'm learning as I go. I'm going to go to the teachers and ask them what they think and what incentives, because I'm fine sleeping on the roof again. That's no problem. Kids like, they like variety. Like that, I'll be doing that. But, I kind of coerced the teachers, like, oh, yeah, we'll do the Fear Factor. And those teachers ended up eating parts of a cow that you shouldn't eat. It's sanitary, I promise, but it was awful. The smell and the sight and the pictures were horrendous. Honestly, I'll go to the teachers and I'll just say, what should we do? And I'll go to the kids and what should we do? And I'll take the best of them and we'll go with that.
Let me ask you this. Did you formulate any kind of a scientific study of these kids? Did they want to get into a certain type of book or a certain type of story? I mean, did you get anything out of that?
Well, specifically and historically, kids were really geared toward fantasy, and it's a large push just the last 10 years. Fantasy has really gotten big, but that doesn't necessarily prepare them 100% for college. And being able to take a scientific book or a study and be able to read a book that doesn't have a storyline and pull out the information, specifically with the Idaho Core Standard, what we're trying to do is balance that out in the classroom, and also try to engage the kids in those types of books, so that they get a variety of different kinds of writing and get exposed to more than one type of vocabulary. So that's the push, and that's what we learn from it.
Now, Kevin, how would Declo Elementary and this kind of impressive reading of 50,000 books, how does it stack up as far as other schools in other areas with the amount of books that they read during a certain period of time?
As I came in, the AR program was a little bit antiquated, and though the expense was prohibitive, like as I said to the PTO, they helped to come in and they funded it online, which gave us a doubled, tripled, or quadrupled the quantity of books that the kids could read and take tests on. So when I came into the school, it was either drop the program or take it a step up, because instead of enticing them to read, it was actually stopping them because certain books didn't have certain tests. Now, in other schools, they either have the antiquated version of AR, or they don't use that, or they use another great type of program that it gives that incentive for kids to read. So we're talking apples and oranges. I don't have data to compare, but I will tell you that our kids at Declo, they made not only improvement with this program, but with our standardized tests, the ones that we had data on, we could see a huge jump in proficiency in reading, specifically with our minority groups as well.
Oh, man. I'll tell you, it's been a real treat to have you on the program this morning. Kevin Lloyd, principal of Declo Elementary, I bit my tongue, and we certainly hope that you'll come back and visit with us again on this reading program or anything else in the future. Thank you, Kevin of Declo Elementary, and God's blessings, and don't forget to pack your sleeping bag with you wherever you go.
Thank you very much.
All right, sir. Thank you. Kevin Lloyd, principal of Declo Elementary. Outstanding reading program where his students read over 50,000 books. Oh, my goodness. Kudos to them, and kudos to Declo Elementary. My goodness sakes, we got a lot of things to cook in here, and in just a moment, I think Gina's going to be telling me that we have the lovely Mandy from Valleywide Home and Ranch on our program, and we're going to be visiting with her in just a few minutes. And then at 10:30 this morning, we're going to be visiting with Kyle Olson with EAGnews.org, and he was just involved, today's Thursday, it would have been Tuesday, in a program with Glenn Beck down in Dallas, Texas, as they were discussing the pros and the cons of Common Core. And so we're going to be having him on the program in just a matter of a few minutes. So stay tuned for that. Oh, my goodness, you're efficient. Thank you very much. The lovely Mandy over at Valleywide Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Good morning, Mandy. How are you?
Oh, good morning, Zeb.
How in the world are you doing in the land of the rich and famous?
You know what? We are doing great. Just getting everything ready for everybody for fair.
You know, it's hard to believe, Mandy, and I said this earlier this morning, here we are already at the end of July. Fair time is here. Everybody's gearing up for it. What kind of specials have you got over there at Valleywide that you want people to be aware of?
Well, first of all, Zeb, on all of our show products and feed for 4-H, we do a 10% discount. And then this week we are doing where we have show sticks are 15% off. We have different halters. They're all on sale. We're doing the pink oil, all kinds of blades for their cutters. All kinds of stuff is on sale in here.
Okay. And really, if they're a 4-H'er, they can save quite a bit of money by coming in there. All their feed needs, everything. You've got it at Valley Wine Home and Ranch.
Absolutely. We can order in anything they need. We order our feed from our feed mill up in Preston, so if they just let us know, we can get it coming for them.
Now, what about the clothing for the fair? I mean, everybody that goes to the fair, I mean, they got to look the part, and the kids have got to look good when they're showing their animals. What have you got for clothing over there?
All the clothing that you need for 4-H is also 10% off. Anything you need for 4-H is 10% off.
Okay, and how's the boot department that you head up?
You know what? This week we have some new boots that we're going to be putting out on the shelf.
Okay, and all sizes available from kids' boots up to mom and dad, right?
Absolutely. We got everything you guys need for boots.
You know, one other thing I wanted to mention, and I'm so grateful, I haven't had the time to go fishing, not once this year, and I understand that you and Steve and the rest of the crew have really been stocking up on your fishing supplies. Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. We have a huge array of fishing supplies. They're all upstairs, up by Steve's office. We can do all your hunting and fishing license here, anything you need to get you going to get a good time.
Now, is there anything going on Fridays over there? Are you still having some specials? Are you still doing anything special on Friday afternoons?
Every once in a while we do have a barbecue and a sale, but we don't have anything coming up for a little while, not until later on in August.
Okay. And the other thing I wanted to say is that when it comes to health supplies, you've got all the health supplies to keep their animals good and healthy for fair season, right?
Absolutely. Just come in and see Katie. She can hook you up with everything you need for your animal health needs.
All right, now that you're the boss today, Steve's not on the phone, you can do whatever you want. Is there anything else you want to highlight over at Valley Wine Home and Ranch?
You know, I just want everybody to know that for 4-H and FFA, all of your needs can be met right here at Valleywide.
All right. You did very, very well. 910 South Oneida and Rupert, the lovely Mandy at Valleywide Home and Ranch. God bless. Have a good day. We'll talk to you again, Mandy. Thanks.
Sounds good, Zeb. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Nice people over at Valleywide. Really appreciate them. Gina, you know what? This is kind of a rarity, and I never thought I'd say this, but, you know, I got both windows open on the north side of my office and on the west side of my office. It's kind of a little chilly in here this morning.
It was a little chilly this morning. I actually am wearing a jacket at work, and that's normally something I don't do.
I mean, we've been talking 95, 96 degrees, and we've been talking Split City. And where did this big change come from? Michael warned me about it. He called me, as a matter of fact, yesterday. He says it's going to cool off. It's doggone chilly sitting here.
It is, and I think the wind is definitely playing a factor with that. And so, like I said, I actually have my jacket on, but it's kind of nice to have a little bit of a cool day.
Yes, it is. And I'm going to do one more commercial, and then I'm going to send it over to you. Don't forget Redder's Showcase 2611 Overland and Burley with their big tent sale, their annual tent sale. But you know what? It's not outside. It's inside. What? Yes, they put the tents up inside the store where it's nice and cool, and they've got all kinds of values underneath the tent flap. You better believe it. You can check out money and save money on Whirlpool and Maytag and Amana appliances. 12 months, same as cash on approved credit. And they've got a huge selection of Staten furniture, all made in America. Oh my, all of this and much, much more at a store that won the best appliance store for 2014 in the Mini-Cash area. Redder's Showcase, 2611 Overland and Burley. You stop in and see them today for their big annual tent sale. We're going to send it over to our main studios right now, and we'll be back in 3 minutes.
And now back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KVAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Thank you very much. Welcome back to our last half hour. And the other day on Tuesday, I believe it was, we had this man scheduled, and he had to run off and do a taped interview on a special they were doing with Glenn Beck down in Dallas, Texas, regarding Common Core education. And he was so gracious, he said he'd come back on the program and visit with us about it today. And I'd like to say with EAGnews.org, good morning to Kyle Olson. Sir, how are you this morning?
I'm good, Zeb. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Listen, I talked to some people that went to a local movie theater and watched that special with you and Glenn Beck and Michelle Malkin. For those that didn't see that, would you bring us up to speed exactly as to what the subject matter was and what you hope to achieve?
Sure. Well, it was interesting to be a part of it, and I realized when it was done that we really needed, 3 or 4 hours instead of 2 hours. There was just a lot of ground to cover. There were a lot of people there. But what we were trying to do was highlight the different aspects of Common Core, but then also provide parents and teachers and activists with some concrete actions that they can take, whether it's different places to look for research in the history of Common Core, or what sort of messaging should be used, or the better understanding the political dynamics, all of those sorts of things. And so if your listeners go to wewillnotconform.com, there was actually basically an action plan that was produced from the night, and it's available there.
Let me ask you this. When you talk to various teachers around the country, even prior to doing this television show or this movie, if you will, with Glenn Beck and Michelle Malkin and others, what's the general consensus of teachers that you talk to, Kyle? Are they aware of what Common Core is? Are they unaware? Are they just basically uninformed? What's the status?
I think they're very aware of what's going on, largely because for the first time ever, teachers will be held accountable for their performance through Common Core, and so I think a lot of teachers are. But what we're seeing is just this sort of resignation that it's just happening, and there's nothing we can do about it. And to some extent, the teachers are powerless to do anything about it. In terms of, the operating within the bureaucracy. But, there are these different groups and different efforts that are popping up around the country to boycott the tests and not participate in the standardized tests that go along with Common Core. There are groups that are openly and actively talking about how it's changing teaching and learning. I've heard from math teachers who say, I don't even know how to teach this math anymore. And I have a degree in math. I have a degree in teaching. I have taught math for years. And the way that math is changing, I don't understand it anymore. And so there are teachers who are standing up. But I think that will be a critical moment when more stand up and say, my union has sold me out because the NEA and the AFT both support Common Core. They both took money from Bill Gates to promote Common Core. And so what we need to hear from is individual teachers and not their organizations that they're forced to join.
Kyle, I don't want to sound naive about this, but you've forgot more about this subject than I'll ever know. But when you look at Common Core, are there distinct areas of concern, I mean like A, B, C, D, of concern about Common Core? And do you address them by refuting and going after these certain areas of concern?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of concerns. I mean, one, the way it was implemented. To me, one of the worst examples in the country was Wisconsin, where one single person adopted Common Core, the state superintendent. He adopted the standards on the very same day that they were published. And the reason that I would say most states adopted Common Core was simply to make their application for stimulus money look better. It had nothing to do with, are these better standards? Are these more, quote-unquote, rigorous standards? Are these in the best interest of our students and our schools? Are they actually going to produce better outcomes? That was really never part of the equation. It was, we have a budget shortfall, and then the federal government is offering $4 billion in stimulus money, and I want a piece of that cash, and so I'm going to do what they say. That's really what it amounted to. Mm-hmm. And so now what we're seeing around the country is, as budgets are improving and people are seeing how this is being implemented, we've got governors like Scott Walker and Mary Fallin in Oklahoma, and governors across the country taking a second look and saying, I don't know if this is in the best interest of our state, because one, we don't know if the standards are actually better. Two, it's been hijacked by the federal government through the stimulus, and so now is the time where I think a lot of states are taking a second look, and we're seeing some hand-wringing and some second thoughts.
Kyle, I had not seen the special, and I wished I could have, but I had firsthand knowledge of some of the math and some of the math questions, and I'm in the dark as to why these math questions have to be so distorted, have to be so much more time-consuming to come up with a quote-unquote Common Core answer. Would you help explain that to me? Why make it fuzzier than it already is?
That, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I've asked people that. I said, why is this changing? I mean, clearly, when you look at student proficiency rates and those sorts of things, clearly they are not where they should be. Our system is not producing the results that it should. But then the second question is, well, then, should we make math more difficult, or should we get better teachers, or what exactly should we do? And for whatever reason, they settled on, well, let's make math more complicated, and let's make it more work, and all of that sort of thing. So I don't know. My short answer is I don't know why math has changed the way it did, but it has in a lot of schools, and I don't think it's going to actually produce better results.
What about the teachers? I mean, it's easy to say that the students are going to be looking at these math questions and it's going to be completely fuzzy and incomprehensible as to why they have to go a roundabout circle to get the correct answer. But what about the teachers themselves? I mean, my goodness, this seems to be a waste of time somewhat for them to try to reevaluate and re-educate themselves to teach a class that should be relatively easy.
Yeah, I completely agree, and that's why I say it's critical that teachers stand up, because there are a lot of teachers, they've been threatened with their jobs if they come out and are critical of Common Core. But there are a lot of teachers that are just very frustrated. They're very demoralized by all of this, and I just, again, I don't see how all of this, kicking up all of this dust and making these changes is actually going to improve educational outcomes, which to me should be the point of reforming the system. I mean, if we look at graduation rates or student proficiency rates, we should be implementing strategies that will improve those things. But I don't see Common Core or the other sorts of, the data collection and the testing and all of that, increasing testing. All of that is actually going to improve educational outcomes.
Kyle, what about some of the other courses as far as the teaching and the writing of the textbooks, etc., whether it's history, whether it's English, whether it's social studies? Has there been a twisting or a warping of the values of teaching those courses also?
Yeah, and that's really kind of next. What we're seeing is Common Core, at least at this moment, primarily is English and math. It is not officially yet branched out into science and social studies and in different subjects, but that's coming next. And but what we're seeing too is in this mad rush to be Common Core aligned schools. Textbook companies and manufacturers are just slapping Common Core aligned the label on history books, on science books, because that's what school districts are looking for. And so it's almost like the seal of approval. And so my fear is that a lot of school districts are simply looking for that and not actually looking at the quality of the book to figure out if it's actually a better book or it just simply has an updated label.
You know, I guess an obvious question would be, and I'm sure you're way ahead of me on this, but who are these people? Who are these educators? Who are these people that are writing the books, and why are they making such transitional changes?
Well, I think if you want to talk about, single individual people or companies, I think a lot of it goes back to Bill Gates, both in terms of Microsoft and also in terms of his foundation. He has given hundreds of millions of dollars away to teachers' unions and quote-unquote conservative think tanks and school districts and companies and basically anybody that will take it in order to promote Common Core. And one of the dirty little secrets about Common Core is there's this movement to increase technology in education, which on the one hand you would say that's a good idea, but on the other hand, what company stands to gain by increasing technology in education? Microsoft. Mm-hmm. And so there is just, to me, such a transparent agenda about what is going on here. But then you also look at textbook companies like Pearson, who they produce curriculum and textbooks and those sorts of things, but they also produce tests. And one of the things that we're seeing with Common Core is an increase in testing. And so one of the other dirty little secrets is that as you increase the testing, more kids fail. And when kids fail, they need to retake the test, which means the company gets to be paid more because the student needs to take the test. And so there are all these sorts of, things going on that I look at this, and as I said the other night, I'm a capitalist. I believe in companies making money. But to see this sort of stuff going on in education, it puts a bad taste in my mouth. And I think, what is this really all about? Is it about kids obtaining a high-quality education that will make them independent citizens who can retain jobs and continue to be inspired to learn throughout their lives? Or are we simply just producing widgets for the American economy so that these big corporations can just continue to make money?
You really brought up some excellent points there, and one of the questions that came to mind while you were discussing that is, here you are sitting on a panel discussion with some very noteworthy people, Glenn Beck and also Michelle Malkin and others. What did you learn personally that perhaps you didn't know about Common Core prior to that panel discussion?
Well, one of the things that one of the light bulbs that went off in my head was what I was just talking about the testing, and I had never thought about the fact that when kids take these tests and they fail, they're required to take the test again, and the company just continues making money. Mm-hmm. And so there's an incentive, this perverted incentive for test companies to have kids fail. And I'm kind of in this weird place because I have been a huge proponent for accountability in schools. I'm a proponent of standardized testing to some degree because that's an objective way to assess where kids are at when it comes to learning reading and math and the different subjects. But to see what's going on in Common Core, it's just going way beyond that. And two, I think it's interesting to think about, too, how here we are expecting government to be able to implement this sort of massive reform. Right. And I think as we get further into implementation, we're seeing this is government. Government does not do anything well. Just ask veterans who are trying to get care from the VA. This is government, and these are government schools. And so for, these quote-unquote conservative people like Jeb Bush, the Fordham Institute, and others who just keep, pushing Common Core, where this is falling apart, I think, is the implementation, because it's government. And it doesn't do anything well, and we're seeing it play out right now.
In accordance with what you just said, Kyle, I would imagine that you've probably run into various people around the country that think, oh, well, those right-wingers, doggone it, they can't accept anything new or novel, not any new ideas for education. Are they changing their attitude once they see how fuzzy actually Common Core is?
Yeah, I think they are. You mean in terms of those sorts of people, like the critics?
Yeah, the ones that sit back and they'll look at you and they'll look at Glenn Beck and they'll listen to us on the radio and they'll go, oh, those right-wingers are always trying to tear everything down. But maybe now they're starting to look at the whole situation of Common Core and understand maybe it's not all it purported to be.
Sure. Well, yeah. I mean, again, just talk to teachers, talk to principals, talk to superintendents. And a lot of times they don't know what's going on, or they just resign to the fact that, well, the state's telling us we have to do this, the feds are telling us we have to do this, and so we just throw up our hands and we, implement it the best we can. And so, I don't know. It just seems to me that as this goes on, it's not going to get any better. And so, to me, I think one of the best solutions here in all of this is, as conservatives, as Americans, we have always looked to the free market economy to improve our lives, to improve everything in America. I mean, where do you think our healthcare system would be if we had not used free market economics in healthcare, or cars, or any other product in our lives? And yet we have not applied those same principles when it comes to education. And so I would implore conservatives, Republicans, anyone, not just them, to actually focus on increasing free market solutions in education instead of constantly trying to prop up the government system with these quote-unquote solutions like Common Core.
All right, now, final thought here, Kyle Olson with eagnews.org, and then you mentioned a website, wewillnotconform.com. I would assume that website probably has a lot of answers to everyone's questions regarding Common Core. Is that correct?
Yeah, it should. And again, that document should be there. That has just a ton of resources. I only saw the research portion that I helped put together, but the end document has just a ton of links and resources that people can use to find out information and take action.
All right. Kyle, God bless you, and I mean that. Kyle Olson, eagnews.org. I really do appreciate you coming on the program. Go have lunch, and I'll call you in a couple of weeks and have you back on the show. Thank you so much.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Very interesting young man, and I'm happy to have him as my stable of guests, one of my stable of guests, right here on Zeb at the Ranch. Kyle Olson with eagnews.org, and he was invited to be on that panel discussion the other night down in Dallas, Texas, with Glenn Beck and Michelle Malkin and others, and I really appreciate all of his efforts this morning. Holy cow, it's time for the weather, pastime for the weather, and the weather is brought to you this hour by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome, 324-7657. They are selling taste one bite at a time. Oh my goodness, you better call and order one of those marinated tri-tips for any occasion. Melt in your mouth, delicious. Don't forget, they're at 331 North Road, Jerome, Scarrows Meats. Here now, Michael Rogers weather.
Hey everyone, Michael Rogers for Zeb at the Ranch. How you doing? You're going to be cool today, Sunday high 76. The bad news, so you get a red flag warning for much of the Magic Valley from your area, southeast, and also north, as far north as Cruise of the Moon Park. And the bad news that goes along with that red flag warning is that it's going to be breezy today. You can have winds gusting to about close to 35 miles an hour, coming out of the west, 18 to 22 miles an hour. Pretty dry in the Magic Valley. Now, as far as warming up, you'll get up to about 94 by the time you get to Saturday. But other than that, cool day, breezy day, red flag warning, but a lot of sun, very little clouds. So the weather's flowing. You got.
Thank you, MichaelRogersWeather.com. Again, brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome, 324-7657. They are selling taste one bite at a time. Absolutely excellent. I want to remind everybody everybody, that this is the end of the week for us, Thursdays, and we've got a full plate of really interesting people coming up on next Monday's show. I just finished booking everybody. We don't know yet about 906. Frosty is either going to be on the program with us via the telephone, or he's going to be here live and direct in my studio as he and his wife are taking a kind of a bike tour all through the Intermountain West from Golden, Colorado, kind of a big loop, and then back home again. He may be here on Monday. And then, of course, Alliance Defending Freedom, and then we're going to have Sandra Mitchell with the Idaho Recreation Council, and Jeff Wilkins will be on the air with us talking about the crisis, and that's what it is, on our southern borders. So we've got a lot of good people coming up, that many of which you've seen on television, and they're going to be here on Monday morning. Hey, don't forget your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations, with the best tire value promise in the industry. That's right, free peace of mind tire protection, free lifetime tire and mileage care, and the best in tires. I mean, whatever it is, like the Wildcat AT2 for your pick-em-ups and your SUVs, all-season traction, smooth, quiet ride. And don't forget, along with all the tires, they've got the very, very best in brake service, the very best in front-end alignments, shocks and struts, batteries, all of that for your safe driving. Now, the locations, really handy to get into and have them serve you. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, John on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. You stop in and see them today. Oh, Gina, last day of the week for me. I'm just ready to sit back in my chair and go, howdy. It's going to be great having a 3-day weekend. I'm looking forward to it.
You bet. I bet you are. And you enjoy your weekend as you should.
What are you going to do special this weekend besides take care of the dog bites?
I think probably take the boys out to the Faulkner Planetarium for a show.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, well, good for you. And then some outdoor activities, hopefully when it's not too warm.
Exactly. It's going to be a good time. And then just, kind of enjoy the weekend and relax a little bit.
Any barbecuing in order?
Probably. Haven't planned on any, but probably.
Now, wait a minute. I got to check on something that you promised me, and I haven't seen anything come across my desk or my table. Huckleberries, jam, ice cream, anything in the process?
Don't have any.
No.
Had any relative? I haven't been up to northern Idaho to get any.
Well, there's such a thing as UPS and FedEx.
Yeah, that's a finding friends who are willing to give some up.
No, I really want to try that huckleberry jam and ice cream and everything. So if you do get an opportunity, anybody out there in Radio Land that has any huckleberries, give them to Gina. Just take them over to Gina right now.
Please do, and I'll fix you up with that.
All right, well, I want to extend to you and everybody else to have a great weekend, and I've got to run into the doctor's office right now, and I just want to say that we'll be back here on Monday morning, and 8:06 to 11, we'll ride the horse for 3 hours right here on Zeb at the Ranch, and the slogan is, the way things were, the way things ought to be. I hope you and your family enjoy a beautiful weekend here in southern Idaho. We'll see you Monday. Goodbye, everybody. Take care.